You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show. You're watching the Action Sports.
There we go.
There we go. Hi, Everbank. We'll see you tomorrow. Holy crap, Hamby. I mean, what the hell was that?
Wouldn't let me transition.
I mean, what the hell was that? Hopefully you guys do better tomorrow at the bank with your draft coverage. What a start. I mean, Hamby comes in and works once a week and he starts the show like that. Unbelievable.
Here we go.
Hey, we're really lined up today. I mean, I had this great monologue ready to go for the beginning of the show, and then that happened.
I'm not sure if I'm buying it.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it either. I didn't really have a great monologue. I was going to start better than that, though. I can tell you that. Hey, we're going to Vegas a little bit later on in the hour, and then we have a little UNF softball and Jeff Conrad coming in, a little visitor. Then 11:30, Austen Reed from St. Augustine. He's hoping to hear his name called this week. Won't be on Thursday night or Friday most likely, but hopefully on Saturday. So we are loaded up today, and we have Shock Your Mock Finals presented by Everbank. All our draft coverage this week presented by Everbank, and we'll have more draft coverage, of course, throughout the day tomorrow. I just was watching, as we were getting ready for the show, I was watching a little bit of ESPN and whatever the heck their show is in the morning. What's the one Greeny does? What do they call it? I don't even know. Is it just Greeny? Maybe it is just Greeny. I'm not sure what they call that show in the morning. But either way.
Get Up?
Get Up. There you go. Is it still Get Up?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. They're doing a great job with the branding, considering I can't remember. Did you see this story? That they just had this at the end of the show. Did you see that, the Chargers have gone from 100 to 1 odds a couple months ago to get a quarterback in the draft to 6 to 1 odds?
Huh? The Chargers.
The Chargers
are 6 to 1 to get a quarterback.
That's what they just said. Now, have not verified. I'm just going off the worldwide leader. But that is bizarre. Or is it? Obviously, Harbaugh, McCarthy, big money for Herbert, which would include also a ton of dead money, I think, if they were to do something like that. I mean, that would be wild. I mean, they did just shed a lot of talent here in this past. So could they just reboot the whole thing in L.A. and try to figure out a different way? I mean, pretty wild to see the odds. Now, what do the odds mean? I mean, they can mean whatever the heck you want to mean, but there's either sentiment or money going that way, which seems like a colossal waste of money if you're putting money on that bet. To get it from 101 to 6 to 1 odds. That's a lot of money going that way for Herbert to potentially move on. Delphonic says Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's been all over this stuff, all right? I don't know about all over it. He said he leaked last week they're rumored to trade Herbert to the Vikings, and he has been correct on a lot of leaks. You're right.
I don't get it.
Well, actually, is it as far-fetched as it sounds? And here's what I say. I mean, there are some folks that have suggested, hey, there were a couple of these out there. Jags trade Trevor Lawrence to Chicago and go get Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields, you potentially had a guy, and I know it's a little different than Herbert and even Trevor in this conversation, but you had a guy, and you got rid of him to get Caleb Williams. At one time, Josh Rosen, a year into his career, they said, see you later. We're going to get Kyler Murray. It was Kyler Murray they replaced, right? Yeah, It was Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's been in the league that long now. Kind of forget about him. So is it really that far-fetched with how much quarterbacks cost? A new person that really has a lot of power coming into the organization, right? And knows what it looks like and has seen it and loves this guy. He loves McCarthy. right or wrong, I mean, I think we all believe Harbaugh's crazy, right? For loving McCarthy to the degree that he loves McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
But Harbaugh's also a smart guy. He's a good football guy. And he knows this dude better than anybody knows this dude. So, I don't know. It's a fascinating thought just based on odds alone. It's a fascinating thought regardless. Sure, Minnesota in this kind of situation, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you think about Herbert?
Oh, yeah.
Boom, right? You solve your problem. Herbert and Justin Jefferson, great. So, I mean, there'd be plenty of interest. That part's the easy part. But that's just a wild thought. I never saw that anywhere. I mean, maybe it was out there. I didn't see the Antonio Brown stuff. I'm trying to avoid the Antonio Brown stuff. But maybe I should pay closer attention. I was actually at like the news conference last week for the Jags at draft luncheon, and I'm sitting next to somebody that's not like normal media member or somebody within the Jags organization. And I've got like my Twitter handle up. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing all this goofy crap come across from Antonio Brown, right? And I'm like, this probably isn't ideal here, that whatever Antonio Brown's sharing about, you name it, Caitlin Clark or whoever else is up on my screen while we're at the draft luncheon.
Getting caught.
Oh, my gosh, getting caught. I mean, just coming across the timeline. I guess I didn't even know I was following him. Or I'm on the wrong setting, where stuff's showing up, and maybe it's whatever that I might be interested in, or whatever they call that, right? But anyway, I don't think it's that far-fetched of a thing. I'm going to tell you something that's interesting about Herbert that always sticks with me, and this was something a couple years ago, and we were in L.A., and there was some talk around that time. This was before his contract. And to me, the contract debunked whatever theory this was. But there was some conversation amongst the media folks there that I kind of overheard. I think they were talking to some of our guys, and I don't even know how it started or anything, but there was a lot of questions about the leadership of Herbert inside the building.
Okay.
Amongst like the media members, right? And is he that guy? Is he all that? Now, I'm not sitting here spreading rumors. I'm just saying I heard that. And when I heard that, I was like, well, that's pretty interesting, because they're struggling, right? They have a better football team, and they're struggling to get to the finish line, to the promised land. Is that a Staley thing? Is that a Herbert thing? I mean, Herbert's numbers are so good that we put our arms around Herbert because we love statistics, in hindsight especially, but we love statistics. Eye test says he's a very good quarterback. He's also been banged up the last couple of years. But then if you do throw in somebody, say, maybe there's some rumblings inside, hey, there's a little broken nature of, and this comes back to Herbert a little bit. If there's a feeling like that, if that's what they found in the research part of Harbaugh coming in and doing interviews and asking people and everything else, could that be a little bit of a red flag? Now, again, for me, I heard that. It's just media members talking. You hear a lot of stuff with media members and aren't necessarily the facts. But then they signed him to a big deal, and I'm like, well, that obviously wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not concerned about this. They just signed him to a big deal. Anyway, fascinating. Like, that would be the story of stories tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to think about something that's so unlikely to happen and just out of left field, I just thought it was interesting as I heard. I had not seen it anywhere else, or obviously didn't see the Antonio Brown stuff, but I just was listening on ESPN this morning right at the end of that show. I was like, whoa, can you imagine that if that's the case? Which also, by the way, if that would be the case, in some trade capacity, the Chargers would get the Vikings' 11th pick, right? Mm-hmm. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So they would have 5 and 11.
Yeah, so they take JJ at 5.
And then they go get best defensive player, another receiver, whatever it might be. They might even be able to couple that to trade back up to get a receiver like a Dunze or whoever.
Right.
I mean,
they'd probably still take tackle.
Yeah, maybe they take tackle. Is it out of this world possibility for that to happen? I would say no, really, if you talk it out.
I mean, it's still got to be out of this world to leave Justin Herbert. For J.J. McCarthy, it's like the only way you can really even conceive it and understand it is possibly if it was for the number 1 overall pick, in my mind, and it was,
Caleb Williams,
yeah. Or or a couple of drafts ago with Trevor or whatever the case may be, but. To trade your franchise quarterback who's lit up the stats and, hasn't delivered the playoff run, but has done everything you really asked him to do for the 4th quarterback in a draft. Like that would be probably the biggest surprise in draft history.
Well, it would go down. Like it would feel very reminiscent of what like Mike Ditka did and the Dallas Cowboys did for Herschel Walker, right? It would feel that kind of, it would feel that way because we're like, you're dead wrong. There's no way. Like J.J. McCarthy is not going to be better than Justin Herbert.
Right.
But there's more to that quarterback position. We just did this yesterday on the show. I know you weren't here for it, but it's like face of the franchise. Comes with a lot of weight. Are there questions about those kind of things, at least in the fit with Harbaugh, fit with the Chargers? You would never know that stuff. Like, you just don't know. You don't know what they're looking for, what they're asking about that guy, the Harbaugh relationship stuff, like all these things. I'll tell you this. If they were to do this, and again, I think it's so far-fetched, but I still think it's kind of fun. Like, if they were to do something like this, quarterback and coach are aligned.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about it. Now, I think the rest of the organization might be like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, it is about as risky as you can get. So, risk it for the biscuit, I guess, in L.A. I think as you talk it out, again, you'd have to find some people saying stuff, I think, about Herbert, which, by the way, in L.A., they wouldn't say a lot about Herbert because they would like to trade him away. Mm-hmm. But you would have to find somebody poking some holes there in him to really give you reason and motivation other than dollars and good relationship between McCarthy and because you're right. I mean, you're looking at, it would be different if you were going to get Caleb Williams. And you basically said, hey, Caleb Williams is considered to be even better than Herbert will be. And again, Herbert has been very good. But he hasn't been able to win. Is that a problem? Is that a Staley problem? Is that a Chargers problem? Is that a Herbert problem?
I think it's way more on Staley, and I think everybody almost feels the same way.
That's okay, but see, that's the thing I warn about. Inside building, outside building, groupthink versus reality, perception, reality stuff. I did this a lot on the show yesterday. Just because we think that way, Hamby, just because the reports think that way, just because everybody's thinking that way because we're told almost to think that way because it's so outlandish to think another way, doesn't mean they think that way inside the building on a lot of different topics, but even this one.
I know that's probably the case in a lot of reasons, but I mean, this is one where we've seen it with our own eyes, the decision making for him to, go for two in dumb situations and go for it, up 4 points.
Yeah.
With 2 minutes left or stuff like that. And, so I think this is one of those where it's like, yeah, it's Brandon Staley. Everybody thinks it's Brandon Staley. And everybody in the building in L.A. also knows that it was Brandon Staley.
I don't even think it was as much Brandon Staley, in my opinion, and sure, part of it. It feels like it's just the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers, in a way, have a little bit of a snake-bitten way about them.
I mean,
they
Rivers.
get hurt a ton. Yeah, Rivers, they had forever, couldn't win big. Like, the ownership has been an issue from, especially when they were in San Diego at times. From the Joey Bosa deal and contract, it was like the only one of like a 8-year span that couldn't get done in time for training camp, So there's been some things with that organization more than just Staley. And listen, Staley was a little goofy at times, obviously didn't get it done. I agree, but I thought everything came back to Staley. And maybe internally they were like, hey, this isn't just Staley. We got to get this quarterback to be a little bit more mature or this or that. And again, I'm not trying to paint him in a negative way. I'm just asking, like, are those the questions they ask? We don't know that. So fascinating. Just, it got me thinking here. What's the move that could be made? Now, outside of this one, because this one would like just rock the draft, right? Or the next day. What is the move that could be made that you'd be like, holy bleep?
I think if like the Chiefs moved up into the top 7 and took a receiver. I mean, they already need one with Rashee Rice. You take him out of the picture, they definitely need one. Kelsey's on the back 9 of his career. Who knows how much longer he's got. And if they think their window is closing, then they're not going to wait around. If Rashee Rice gets suspended for half a year, I don't know. I have no idea what that suspension is going to look like. But regardless, they need a receiver. I don't know how much draft capital they have, but if they were to move into the top 7, take Neighbors, Odunze, something like that, that'd be pretty insane.
Yeah, well, that would be insane. That's a pretty good call. Like, I just threw this out at you, and that's pretty good. Like, to get that far up, to really get aggressive about it. There's also some common sense in that, but that would be a bit stunning. Like, Philadelphia, people are predicting, I think I saw Daniel Jeremiah today somewhere or yesterday. He's like, they are not staying at number 22. Well, that's not that surprising because Roseman is always moving around. Like, he always moves. So if they go back in, not surprising. I think Houston now becomes somebody of note that, are they going to try to always push up the board and go be aggressive? Now, probably not this year. They don't even have a first-round pick. I don't think they pick until like 43 or 42, something like that. So they probably don't have enough capital to move up. But who knows, right? They look like right now they're playing a little bit out of the Rams playbook where it's like we're going in and we're going to go do this. And it doesn't matter if we have picks for the next 5 years. Like, every time the Rams did that, we're like, you can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. Well, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again, right? Those are the moves that I'm talking about. You have some conservative teams that I don't think like would do anything out of the box crazy, like Pittsburgh. New England feels a little bit like they've played that way before. I mean, is the I don't know about stunning move. Like, if you localize this, I still think the move that could be made here in Jacksonville is like some kind of player move where Cam Robinson is a guy that gets moved on draft day, and then you go, now all of a sudden that shifts your thinking, and you're like, hey, I'm going to go get one of these offensive linemen. Or even if you just move Cam and you have Walker Little still, and now we're sitting here scratching our head like, oh, boy, now you don't have the depth. Everybody's going to be complaining about left tackle or whatever else. But there's still money to be moved around on that Cam deal. And is he a part of your long-term plans? Does it make sense? No, I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying that would be kind of a blockbustery type thing here in Jacksonville. If they get in the top 10, it'd be blockbuster. It doesn't feel like they're going to do that, especially off last week's draft luncheon, but who knows? They could. Around the rest of the league, I think some of the other stuff we've kind of seen, I mean, I think it would have to be player-related like this. Like, is there a quarterback that could move, right? We have seen some, like, could Kyler Murray move? Well, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like they've been very vocal about keeping him there. Could Roseman move a guy like Jalen Hurts to move up and go get a quarterback he likes? I doubt it. He ain't moving for J.J. McCarthy. They basically built that offense and everything around.
Yeah.
Could A.J. Brown move again to like the Patriots or somebody like that on draft day, which then he would become probably historic in nature, right? To be moving twice on draft day, if that were to happen. Again, I'm trying to think of something just, whoa, didn't see that coming. And I'll give you one. Try to think, I got to make sure they can get up there. Hang on. See, this will be tough. I'm going to say it anyway, but it'll be tough because they're both in the AFC East. The Dolphins say, hey, we don't think we're going to get something done with Tua.
Oh, just about to go there.
Trade to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Get the third pick and go get their quarterback.
Yeah. They're at 21, so.
Like, is that far-fetched? Maybe not. I mean, you could talk yourself into some of those things. I just can't see it in the AFC East. I think that'd be kind of goofy to see both teams doing it that way. So
I think one of the most shocking ones that, like, there's no shot, but, like, it's fun to throw out there is if the Cowboys traded Dak and moved up and took a quarterback.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
You know, that would be one, but
yeah, Dak's been a lot of conversation. Like, what could they do? Where would Dak go? That would make sense. I mean, Minnesota,
Las Vegas,
Denver.
Yeah, Denver.
Does Sean Payton like him? Yeah. I mean, you could see him being a moving again. We're talking blockbustery type things like, whoa, didn't see that happening. Yeah. Those things contractually make a little bit more sense than even a guy like Justin Herbert, who you've just pegged as your guy, but now you have a whole regime change and are trying to figure things out. Delphonic says, if the trade happens, get Antonio Brown on the show. Yeah. I don't even know if I want No, in fact, I know I don't. I don't want Antonio Brown.
Oh yeah, we'd probably be thrown off the air.
Texans lost their first pick, trading up to 3 last year for pass rusher. They did. Texans traded pick 23 to the Vikings a few weeks back. That's why Minnesota has 2 first rounds. I don't know why you guys are telling me this. I know they lost their first round pick. They're not picking until like number 42 or something. Did I say something? Did I say it backwards? But thank you if I did. Either way, I think Delphonic brings up a good point. Like the Vikings in play for, say, a Herbert or somebody like that. Now they have 2 pieces, right? They have 11 and 23 to factor into that. Vikings could be a very interesting team here because you know they want quarterback. They've got to keep Justin Jefferson happy a little bit here. They got to break record. Well, that's another one, right? Justin Jefferson, could he move a la A.J. Brown a couple of years ago because they're resetting and they don't want to pay $30+ million for a guy. What's the more stunning move? Herbert moves or Justin Jefferson moves on draft day?
Herbert.
That's the more stunning one?
Yeah, no question. Just because we've seen the smoke, about Justin Jefferson, and for months now he's talking about he don't want to play without Kirk Cousins. That was 3 months ago, and as soon as Kirk Cousins signed with Atlanta, I was like, all right, what are teams offering? It wasn't a question of if there are offers. It was almost what are teams offering for Justin Jefferson. So the fact that he could be moved, it'd still be stunning, like it'd still be throw your phone type stuff, but Herbert would be way more just because we haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think it would be out of the blue, but I guess I could phrase this a couple ways. Okay, more stunning, probably that one. It's a quarterback. They inked him to a deal that said you're our franchise quarterback. They already got the deal done. It's not like they're having negotiation problems. Justin Jefferson, they might be having issues, right? You could see that. Do you want to pay $32 million or they're stuck on $35 million? They really want to reset it. Like, who knows what the dollars are? I actually think the worst move of the two, though, could be the Jefferson one.
Yeah.
Because, you're not getting another Justin Jefferson if you were to trade him. If you were to move Herbert, you feel like you're getting a cheaper franchise quarterback. There's some common sense about what you're trying to do. I don't know if it's that common sense, but there's still some common sense about this and believability between the coach and him and relationship, all that stuff. Where Justin Jefferson, dude's a unicorn right now in the NFL, him and Tyreek Hill, it seems. And I don't even think Harrison Odunze neighbors can be that. I think we're stretching if we think those three guys that we think are can't-miss guys in the receiver room this draft are going to be what Justin Jefferson has been.
So what, JJ goes to the Patriots at 3, and the Patriots go to 11.
Yeah.
And then they could still take a quarterback there.
Yeah, they could. They could take now you're getting down to your 5th, 6th quarterback or...
Well, that's one less team that's taking May.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah,
hypothetically, he could still be there.
The Vikings have the capital to make this happen if the Patriots don't love the quarterback situation.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw another thing out. I don't even know where. It just was right before the show. It said I think the order they had the quarterbacks in were Williams. This is the Patriots. Williams. Daniels, May, but they said don't sleep on the McCarthy stuff because they've got Brady on there. Kraft obviously has this, which I could get that. I subconsciously I understand that.
Yeah,
I know it seems silly to everybody else, but if you're the owner of the Patriots and you found Tom Brady from Michigan, who nobody was talking about, and he just did what he did for the last 2 decades, I could see why you'd be like, hey, let's try to do this again. Right? With obviously a guy who's climbed the boards a lot in recent times. So, hey, one other thought here, since we're just cleaning up a lot of the latest rumors, which is always fun right before the draft. The Ayuk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw some folks, I don't know what day this was. I don't know if this was now 2 days ago or yesterday, but I think there's some folks that still believe Ayuk could get moved, even with Lynch coming out and talking that he's not going to get moved. Hamby, I don't know how you feel about it. We kind of put it on the show yesterday. We were like, okay, it feels. This is all vibe related right now, right? This is feelings that the Jags, for the last 3 months, we've been dreaming about 5 different potential receivers. Higgins, well, he basically said he's playing on the tag in Cincinnati in front of a microphone. Ayuk, Lynch basically said, we want to do business with him. And they had the same situation years ago with Deebo Samuel, and they didn't move Deebo and got a deal done, so there's precedent for it in San Francisco. And then the 3 guys, it just doesn't sound like Balky's willing to go all the way up to number 6, 7, or 8 to go get him. So it's like, cross him off, cross him off, cross him off, cross him off, cross him off. 0 for 5.
Right.
Time to move on to however you feel next. So I don't know how you feel about it. Is Ayuk dead in your opinion?
Yeah, I think he is. And I'm not that upset about it. I mean, I remember we were talking about it maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was team, hey, if you want to go get him, go get him. I'm definitely going to be happy about it, but I'm not all that crazy about it. I know they're huge, big time players that are going to do, those are your one receivers, but I am more confident than the next person with the current weapons that the Jaguars have, and not really wanting them to give up a ton of capital to go move up. And again, like I said, I would be happy with it. I would be stoked to get Higgins, Ayuk, one of those top 3 guys. But I was kind of, I'm not going to be mad, and I kind of want us to stay put at 17 or move up a couple of picks if there's a guy that we want at 12, 13, 14, so we don't have to give up a first rounder next year or pay $25 million to a receiver who we just don't know if we're going to be able to afford that / how that's going to hamper us in the next offseason. So I get it. You're 0 for 5 in that regard, but you're really not 0 for 5 because those guys were never really in your corner to lose.
Yeah, well, I get that. By the way, the chat is hot this morning, and well done. Robert Atzert said draft top QB CB at 17. Now we got some AD Mitchell fans, and there's a bunch of those out there. Really.
There we go.
And even Matt Jones says better than Ayuk and Adunze right out of the gate. Matt is sometimes very sarcastic. I'm not sure if he means that or not. Delphonic has asked me if I did any media mock drafts. I think now because I'm not on the ESPN radio side, they don't ask me anymore. But I did pick well for years, Delphonic. I just want my record to show, including Trevon Diggs that I got laughed about and got picked number 52. And Jags wouldn't have been bad picking him instead of Kayvon Chason, would he?
Oh, my goodness.
I have not, but I haven't really done it. I'll pick tomorrow, so I don't want to give up who I think the Jags are going to take until tomorrow. On the show, we'll be live at the stadium for our draft day, Brent and Austen show. Here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. There's a lot of other things. I think I couldn't remember who said it. These things leave the screen quicker than I can comment to them or react to them. But somebody said Bulky's all in. It's going to make a splash on draft day. I mean, it would be fun. Splash on draft day would be a lot of fun. And I think I could see it. Again, we've talked about this a lot. It looks like the Jags are really aggressive right now. It looks like they are being aggressive. They have been aggressive. They're aggressive with contracts. They're aggressive with extensions.
That was Duval Jags.
Yeah, they're aggressive with free agency more than we thought. And could they be more aggressive than we think even with the draft? I think that certainly is in play for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is fun. It's fun when you think your team's going to be aggressive. That has not always been the case around here. And I think there's a little bit more intrigue with this pick, and I'm fascinated by it and have said this for months now because the Jags don't usually pick in this spot. The last time I think the Jags were picking in this spot, I think they were picking 17. Maybe they were picking 16. I got to go back and look this up. I think they were picking 17 when they traded up to get Blaine Gabbert at number 10. So that would have been 2011 draft. But outside of that, I mean, I've been here 16 drafts now. And the Jags have picked in the top 10 like a bunch. And then a couple of years they picked 28 and ended up being 26 last year because of good seasons. And I think there was another year they traded up to get Derek Harvey. I don't know when they were picking. That was my first one. Whee! Yeah. So they traded up to get Derek Harvey and they traded up to get Blaine Gabbert. Maybe trading up is not a good idea in Jacksonville.
Shoot. Yeah, because after that we went 5, 2, 3, 3, 5, 4.
Yes.
And then Taven Bryan at 29 in 2018. Then back to 7.
So Harvey, let me just double check.
Harvey's 08.
But they got from Baltimore, so the Jags were picking 18.
Okay.
If that's the right Baltimore pick. So, yeah, I think they moved up from 18 to 8. Let's see who Baltimore picked. Joe Flacco that year. Jags had just inked Garrard to a new deal. In between, by the way, if the Jags had just picked anybody else but Derek Harvey, Keith Rivers, Lotus McKelvin, Ryan Clady, who I think was good for a long time. Jonathan Stewart, high for a running back, but back then probably not as high. Chris Williams, offensive tackle. Brandon Albert, who retired a Jag without playing. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, we would have increased the
population.
Is that the right Cromartie? Okay.
What do you have, 11, 12?
There's some to take, but definitely not Derek Harvey. But anyway, so isn't that wild that Jags, they have not picked in this spot very often. At least, again, in 16 drafts, they've picked. This will be the third time they've really been in the teens.
Yeah, don't go 8-8 often or 9-7.
They really don't. I mean, they just haven't in franchise history, which also, from a draft standpoint or from a build standpoint, is not a bad thing. You just don't want to be picking in the top 5 and 10 as much as they did. But most people will tell you around the NFL, if you're going to suck.
Right.
Because then you go get better faster. Not all the time, obviously. Or you're picking in the back end, that means you're good. Mm-hmm. So actually not picking around, that might be the one good thing the Jags have done.
That's a weird way to spin it to get a positive out of it.
It is a weird thing, but I mean, at least when they were losing big and trying to swing for home runs and lottery picks. Yay, Jags. Very good. Let's applaud them. Man. What you got? Trying to get us out of here with this music?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's go take a break. That was a long first segment. I mean, we had to recover from the start, whatever the hell that was. Draft Eve, Brent and Austen show. I think we're going to go to Vegas here in a bit. We'll see what the odds are out there when we come back. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part, they did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website. And Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. And they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back inside the studios. Tomorrow we'll be at Everbank Stadium, 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock. We'll be there with this show, and we'll have you ready for draft day. And then we're there really all day with CBS 47 and Fox 30. And we have a special draft night in Duval, 7 o'clock on Fox 30. And we'll have all the reactions, social media covered, of course. And then at night, we think the draft, we really think the Jags will pick like right while we're in the middle of our newscast. So we'll have instant reaction on Fox 30 during the 10 o'clock hour, and then some Jags reaction coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll do a special 11:15 to 11:35 on CBS 47 and Fox 30 as well. We'll give John Bachman, Taniki Hughes, Mike Burrish a little bit of an early jump on the rest of their evening as the sports team will take over at 11:15. So we've got a lot of coverage all day long. Hopefully that doesn't surprise you here with Action Sports Jax. And, I think we'll even beef it up even more with this new 24/7 network next year around draft time. But we are still playing with some things here on this new network, and we appreciate you being along for the ride. You can check it out on actionnewsjax.com, the Action News Jax app. If you looked at all in the last few days, we have been airing a new show in the morning, 6 a.m. until 10 a.m., and let you go find that. And we'll have a stronger push and promotion for it coming up in the next couple of days. But we want to make sure when we do stuff like this and launch new projects and content, we're really making sure everything's working before we tell you to come watch it. But everything's been working, knock on wood. So go watch it at 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. And then later today, part of our lineup, 1 o'clock, Cup Date with Stuart Weber. 1:30, Olivia Tassley has a week with Action Sports Jax, in case you missed it, on the TV side. And then 2 o'clock, No Gate Fees, presented by Nimnick Buick GMC. And we're going to have a fun show. We'll have some Atlantic Coast baseball on the show today. We'll have our High Five Power Polls, which will come with some scrutiny, criticism, and debate. We'll have Committed to the Uncommitted. We'll highlight a softballer. And then we're going outside the box today and have Billy Horschel live on the show at 2:45 on No Gate Fees. Hey, it's a youth sports show. It's a local sports show. It's not just baseball and softball, which I try to tell everybody, but it'll be interesting to get Billy's perspective coming off a win on Miles Russell.
Yeah.
Also on what's going on in golf, his game right now, and his comeback really is the way it was. And also, he's got kids, and he grew up in a youth sports world. And really, our question today on the show on No Gate Fees at 2 o'clock is, What's your favorite part of youth sports? If you're a parent or a coach, and you can do it if you're a player too, or when you played them if you're not involved with it right now. But like, what's the favorite part? I think we criticize a lot. I think No Gate Fees is kind of viewed as a show where we're just going to criticize about youth sports, and I don't want to do that. Now, it's a little bit of a platform for that, but we also want to highlight the good stuff, and we will do that a little bit today at 2 o'clock. Tomorrow at the stadium, Friday at String Sports Brewery is where I'll be. So come on out. I figured we could have labeled this something like drafts with Action Sports Shacks after and before the draft at String Sports Brewery. We're going to be there at 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. So for lunch, you can come have a draft and celebrate the Jags draft as you get ready for day 2 of the draft. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, it took me a second there.
I know. You're not that smart, Hamby. Although you said you are, but drafts on draft weekend. How about that? Maybe that's easier?
That's it.
At String Sports Brewery on Friday. Duval Jags, you're all over the chat today. Jags have $31 million in cap space. Thank you. What are you predicting they do with that surplus? Not give it to me. Use towards T-Law deal. Sign one more big-name free agent. Or cut Cam and take that number to 47. And just start setting records. All of the above. I'm not suggesting, by the way. I don't think they're going to move Cam. I still think that's a fascinating part of this whole offseason. I've said that. It's my biggest surprise of the offseason. Mm-hmm. That with all the moving around of money, with all the creation of money, with Duval Jags saying, hey, they spent like $339 million, but they still have $31 million. If you told me they still were going to have $31 million in cap space and Cam Robinson was still on the team in his current contract, that's my biggest surprise of the offseason. I would never have said that. I don't know how you would have done that. Yet they did it. And if they want to create more space, they could. They open up a hole, though, by doing that. So I don't think they're going to open up a hole. I just don't feel. I think they like Cam. I think there's good reason to like Cam. I like Cam. I think you guys like Cam. So I'm not in the business of getting rid of good players. My guess is Trevor likes Cam. So I think I would eliminate that one of getting $47 million. There's no way they need to do that. I think it's crystal clear they're getting a deal done with Trevor Lawrence. Like that deal is going to get done before the season. There's no way you talk publicly about the deal the way they've talked about the deal in the last week and not get it done. I'd be stunned if they didn't get it done.
Yeah, I was surprised with how upfront Trent was about it. And I think y'all are right. I mean, just saying, expectations, my expectations going into the draft luncheon, I do feel like he said a lot more and threw a couple little things that aren't so little out there that I wasn't expecting to hear. Everything from, I think the biggest takeaway was him being so upfront about, hey, top 10's too much. If we're going to trade up, it's going to be like 12, 13, 14, stuff like that. And also with how upfront he was about Trevor, that they've begun those negotiations already, 100%.
Yeah, we hit on that stuff. I agree with you. I think that stuff was surprising that they did that. Okay, so one more thing, Duval Jags. Are you predicting they do? You said T-Law deal, cut Cam, or sign one more big-name free agent. Well, it's not a free agent, right? It would be the move for an Ayuk. It gives them flexibility. And then even Robert Atzert comes in and says Trevor will make more space the way Bulky pushes money. Absolutely. You could. But I also think it gives you flexibility to put some of that on the cap right now, the way your cap is, and then spread it out a little bit more reasonable over the few years so you don't get in cap hell later on.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways to view it based on what they do with really the move out there to make is Ayuk. Now, you could sneak in and say Justin Jefferson out of the blue, whatever. But what the bottom line is, the Jags are in a position now that they can do that. And they might have been able to do that anyway, because a lot of times you're just writing a check for that first year on a bonus money, and you're sliding a lot of it down the road anyway when you do a big deal. But they are certainly in position to navigate the Trevor and potentially a big receiver deal more than they were a month ago. And that's even after signing all these other guys and extending Josh Allen. So I got to tell you what, I think the Jags have put themselves in a hell of a spot in a good way. Usually you say that in a bad way. I think they've done a really good job of managing this stuff and creating opportunity for themselves to be able to go all in. And I will always say this. I said it all last year, and I don't think it materialized, but I just can't get 2017 out of my head when they made the move for Marcel Darius. An in-season trade is always on the table, especially if you're going to have not this kind of cap space, but even any reasonable amount of cap space. So keep that in the back of your mind all the time, that just because the draft might end and no move was made or they couldn't get something done, or even if they don't sign Trevor in the next couple months, they could be creating space for a big-time player to come over and be able to absorb that hit or whatever's left of that hit at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline. So I think there's a lot of different things that Jags can do, which I like. I love that. I think it's really cool. Hey, let me ask you about Bulky. You just said it's almost like you endorsed Bulky a little bit there. Don't
pin it off on me.
It's not a popular thing. Trust me. I've been alone on it at times. So I say this a little tongue-in-cheek, but maybe I shouldn't say it tongue-in-cheek. If they move into the top 10, or if they were to get an Ayuk, if they make a deal that you want them to make, because a lot of people want them to make those kind of moves to go get receiver, and if they are able to pull something off to get a top-flight receiver, one of the top 3 in the draft, or a guy like Ayuk or, Jefferson or something like that, does the fan base start campaigning for an extension for Bulky?
Ooh.
I mean, what an unbelievable offseason it would have been from a fan perspective. I'm not even telling you these are all right moves.
Yeah.
But from the fan perspective, what has he done to piss you off?
Right. Well, here's what I just thought of. If we trade for Ayuk or into the top 10 take receiver, I better not see one single person on Jags Twitter complaining that we gave up too much. Better not see it. You guys wanted it way too much to go make the trade happen. If he makes the trade happen, you cannot complain about what he gave up to do it. As much hype there's been, I just don't want to see one single person. Oh, Bulky gave up too much. What was he? No. Everybody wanted it. He made it happen. You have to applaud him no matter what he gave up. With that being said, yes, there will be campaigns for his extension if he goes and gets one of the top 3 receivers or Ayuk.
Yeah, and again, I can say it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but this has been a thing in Jacksonville, and I really believe right now, there are a few things that are pretty on point. Now, it doesn't mean they don't come with criticism, everything, or debate. I think the Jags roster is pretty good. I think it has been for a couple of years, and I think it got better this offseason. Now, we can debate how good it is. That's fine. I get it. Some people we're higher on, or maybe we're too close to it. The outside world would say, yeah, but still like the 16th best roster in the NFL. Maybe you're right. Got Josh Allen deal done. Looks like going to get Trevor deal done. That one will come with a little criticism, not Josh Allen, because everybody's got recency bias, and they'll say, hey, throw him the bank because he had 17.5 sacks. Trevor is a little bit more foresight ahead of it, which I would also say is a little bit learning from the Josh Allen stuff. Mm-hmm. And people criticize it because, like, what has he done to earn it? There are those folks out there like, what has he done to earn it? We can wait. Bottom line is, check the box. You get your franchise quarterback for the next however long. And he did pick Trevor Lawrence. Like, it's on his clock. You know? And I know it was an easy pick. I'm just saying. I think the work with Doug Peterson feels like it's good. I think the guys that have been brought in feel like they're better additions. I don't think he's jumped the gun on, say, a Cisco or a Tyson Campbell, obviously those kind of deals. Like, what's the head-scratcher move that Bulky in the front office, and I include Peterson here, but the Jags have made this offseason? I mean, the only sense of criticism that you could get is the one that we gave them. Well, you gave them, meaning the fan base, and maybe others here on the show, gave them this criticism in a different way than I did. I thought they should have got the Josh Allen made a done deal last year. Then they wouldn't have had the problem with the Ridley thing. They could have used the franchise tag. I'll tell you until I die that there was no way in hell they were getting the deal done by franchise tag deadline once the season had ended. Mm-hmm. Because there's no way in hell the Josh Allen camp would do it. And it was crystal clear why they wouldn't do it. They got more money by waiting. Same with Calvin Ridley, by waiting. But you did lose the ability to keep Ridley. See, I'm fine with keeping Ridley. I was okay with that. I still think you can come up roses, though, by not keeping Ridley, especially for that price tag.
All right, yeah, that was.
Now, the idea is you would have been able to franchise tag him for $21 million, but you might have had an unhappy player or two.
Yeah.
This is a guy that could have gone and made $50 million, all those things. He might have been an unhappy player, and we still don't even know how good he is. I'm a believer. I would have bought in, and I was buying in, and I still think he's going to have a nice year. But you could, if you go get Ayuk at 26 years old, or if you go get one of these top-flight receivers, or even if you end up with Brian Thomas. You've got a young receiver now to grow with your young quarterback instead of a 30-year-old guy. That really didn't mesh unbelievably well with the offense in Jacksonville at times. So that's the biggest criticism of the offseason. I mean, what other, outside of that scenario, and again, I know everybody wanted this to happen. They blame Balky for it. Once the season ended, folks, they weren't going to do the deal. Now, can we be critical of Balky not talking right after the season? I have. Can we be critical of why hasn't he talked to Josh Allen's camp yet? Fair enough. Like, those are things. But what move have the Jags made that you're, like, critical of this offseason?
I mean, well, what people are going to say is Darius Williams.
Really? Are people bent about that?
No, I mean, if you're looking to point for the Balky haters, yeah, they'll point the finger at that, especially if Darby doesn't come out right away and look good. I mean, I think a lot of this is what we're talking about is people who are anti-Balky almost no matter what. And I feel like, you might say that certainly that's not a lot of people, but I think a lot of people would beg to differ that a lot of Jags fans are seemingly Balky, anti-Balky no matter what. No matter, he can't please them no matter what he does. And those people are definitely going to look at the Darius deal with an eyeglass and a microscope and that we let him go. And they're going to be saying, if Darby doesn't come out for first couple games and play like a solid corner, then we lost. And they're going to say, well, that's all on Balky for not, keeping Darius Williams for his last year of his contract.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I actually think it's good business what they did with Darius Williams. I think you go get a guy and you pay him pretty good money, and then you have 2 good years, and you really get a lot of bang for your buck there, and then you move on and you go get cheaper option. Right. Whether it was Darby, but I think we're going to see in this draft, right? They're also going to get a cheaper option and maybe even ahead of Darby. It becomes a young player in the first round, maybe the second round, whatever we see out of that cornerback spot. We've been debating that for months, but I think again overall. I look like the Ezra Cleveland move. Yeah. I don't know, but here's what I say about that. If you don't like the Ezra Cleveland move because it was similar to last year, first of all, that's a little bit unfair to Ezra Cleveland. I mean, he was here for like 7 weeks, and some of it I think he was even hurt. But secondly, I said this, give me the other guard you want. Like, what free agent guard, what left guard do you want? Nobody can even name a left guard.
Right.
Which I also think it says a little something about the position. But from a fan perspective, have they done what you wanted them to do? Upgraded at center, signed Josh. They might end up signing Trevor. Kept Cam. I think the fans wanted to keep Cam. New defensive coordinator. I don't know if fans wanted that, but if you did, you got it.
Right.
Eric Armstead. Splash. Yeah. What am I missing? Anything else?
I mean,
the only thing is receiver. That's it.
Right.
And some people are saying like Ayuk's not going to be like a number 1 wide receiver. I will say this. First of all, if you're going to pay a guy $26, $27 million, like if they were to go make that trade, you better be. Like these number 1 wide receiver things are interesting. Because if you go have 1,300 yards in a season, you're a number 1 wide receiver. If you make clutch plays, you're a number 1 wide receiver. Those come in different sizes, different packages, different looks. Is Cooper Kupp a number 1 wide receiver? He looks totally different than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs and what those guys do, or what A.J. Green did, or what Julio Jones did. I mean, they're different styles of receivers. But they're still a number 1 wide receiver. That's why we argue around here, hey, Christian Kirk isn't that far off from being a number 1 wide receiver. At least production-wise, or what he does from that slot. What I think everybody really wants around here, if you answer your own like questions and you kind of look yourself in the mirror, what you're saying, it's like you want a different receiver.
Yeah.
Then Kirk, then Zay Jones, then Gabe Davis. And if it fits into the puzzle, is more important than we got DK Metcalf looking guy, Jamar Chase looking guy. Like that skill set has all those tools. Ayuk's not going to be that. But one of these top 3 receivers could certainly be that.
Yeah.
Like in the draft if they were able to go get him. So it's pretty fascinating where everybody is on that. And we'll see what they do. But, I mean, I think Bulky is a receiver away from you guys sending him flowers. Like, I really do. I don't know what else you could criticize. Because if he gets the receiver, nobody's going to sit here and say, hey, Calvin Ridley, I wish we had him over this receiver. If he gets that top-flight receiver. I'll even say that about Brian Thomas. Like, Brian Thomas, if he's the 4th receiver off the board who could go with the Jags, if they are able to get him, and this was a guy that would have been fine with signing Ridley back. And probably would have signed him to a 2-year deal before even the franchise tag stuff, so I wouldn't have to worry about the free agency. Before he was making $23 million a year. I'm still happier with a Brian Thomas because I want that receiver to be able to grow with Trevor. And now you've got Gabe Davis and him, and you're younger in that room. 30-year-old players, 31-year-old players are scary players. You just don't know how much they have left. Receivers, we have examples of it being really good. But in sports, we have examples of that age group also falling off fast. I'll give you A.J. Green. I don't know how old he was. And Julio Jones. But once it started going, they became pretty normal. Right?
Yeah, Mike Evans is really the only guy who's kind of gone against that.
Really is. Evans still delivering.
I mean, even Hopkins, you can argue quarterback and
Hopkins
injuries,
is
but
diminished.
he's
yes.
right there at that age.
He's nowhere near the guy he, like at least from a perception standpoint. You like to have him on your team? Yeah, but he's not the guy that was battling Jalen Ramsey each and every rep.
And this will be the year for Devontae Adams, too.
Is that going to be a 30-year-old year?
Yeah, I believe so. This would be the one where he starts to tail.
Yeah, and I just think the way this team is built, having that younger guy come along is a better option for my money. Hey, we're going to visit with Jeff Conrad from the University of North Florida softball team, Austen Lane from out in Vegas, Austin Reed. Hey, it's a big Austin show. Austin Reed, who hopes to hear his name called in the draft. He's a quarterback from Jacksonville, played at St. Augustine High School and some other spots, so we expect to have him in on the call. Shock Your Mock Finals. Those will be announced today as well. It's a busy day here on the show. Take one of those receivers, ideally one of the top 3 or the next 2. A.D. Mitchell, man, you keep hearing star power, but also feels risky. If A.D. Mitchell, that man in the middle there from Texas, is the pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars in some capacity, I'd be stunned if he's the guy at number 17. We'll be back on the Brent and Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Springs, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
I'm Action News Jack's First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. Well, the sun is up and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Sometimes you just need a day to yourself. And Garrett's First Alert forecast makes sure you're ready to go out and enjoy. Garrett and the Action News Jax This Morning team helping you start your morning right.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Community. That's who we serve.
It's the people. Yes, the people.
Demanding answers because the truth matters.
When are you going to do the job?
Listening and getting help to those who need it.
I just appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
It's about telling stories from deep inside our neighborhoods, informing you, building connections, tracking storms.
Serious storm situation, the kind of which we rarely see.
Holding people accountable.
You were getting at the truth.
That's who we are. Action News Jax.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jax Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the Pro Shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Draft night in Duval. We will be there all day tomorrow, not just 7 to 8. We'll be there in the morning, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. with the Brent and Austen Show live from the bank. All our coverage this week with the draft and Shock Your Mock presented by Everbank, Advantage U. And 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock, we'll have our 1-hour draft special. Tony Baselli, Travis Etienne scheduled to join us as well with the Action Sports Jax team live from the stadium. We've really had a lot of fun with those over the last few years. We went 3 hours live during the Trevor Lawrence and Trayvon Walker picks, 3 hours live coverage. Now, we won't do that at number 17. We'll go 7 to 8, and then we'll update you on social media. And we'll be live probably on our newscast, we think, in the 10 o'clock hour when the Jags pick, unless they move off that pick at 17. And then all the reaction at 11 o'clock. We'll actually do a 15-minute show to wrap up the night. And we'll be there Friday and Saturday for you as well with all the draft coverage. We at String Sports Brewery on Friday morning with the Brent and Austen Show. So come celebrate the draft pick with us for lunch at Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield. Brent Martineau here, and we're going to Las Vegas, I think, to check in with Austen Lane, who is there. Where are you staying? Can't hear him, Hamby. Can't hear him, Hamby. He's checking it out. I'm just going to put a little pressure on Hamby. Like, it's this like, now it's 0-2 and the coach still wants you to bunt. That's what happens right here. You need me to take a little sidebar, Hamby, you just let me know, but you're going to have to jump in and direct me. There we go. There's Austen. Can you hear me now, Austen? He can hear me, but I can't hear him. So, first day back in the chair for Hamby in a while, and the buttons aren't being pushed right. You want to get Coach on until we figure it out?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, let's do that. We'll get Coach Conrad. He's hanging out. Anyways, I got backup plans around here. Here on the Brent and Austen show. We'll get to Austen and Vegas hopefully in just a moment. Call Sesnick. That's what you got to do. If you're having some issues, he'll come put out some fires. Coach Jeff Conrad from the University of North Florida softball team stopping in. I like this UNF stuff. You guys just pop over. Maybe take a run. It's not hard to do. Move that mic up a little bit for you so we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, quick and easy. I could have taken a golf cart over here.
You got plenty of those over there, so you can definitely do that. Well, congrats on a fantastic season so far. You got a big one coming up this weekend at home.
Yeah, big series with EKU. Obviously, they've been start to finish at the top of the conference, and we're looking to have a big weekend, try and jump back in the middle of this race, and take this thing down to the last weekend.
Are they traditionally good in softball?
We haven't. They've been in the league now for a couple of years, but with the unbalanced schedule, we've yet to play them. So this is our first time seeing them. They've had some good teams. Their coach has been there for a while. I think she just won her 900th game this year.
Yeah.
So
definitely been there a while.
Yeah, been around. Yep. But I know last year, just looking at the overall standings, they weren't. They were down a little bit, and I think they had a really good freshman class, a really good freshman pitcher that's kind of come in and carried them. So that's been really good. But it'll be a big series for us, and good to have it here at home.
It's funny when we talk about transfer portal all the time, and you guys have actually been able to hit there the last couple of years. But it must be tough to almost predict who is going to be good the next year, right? I mean, you guys had Liberty in the league forever, or not forever, but for a handful of years. You kind of know they're going to probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of that jockeying within the conference year to year now, probably solely based on the transfer portal.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's really kind of changed the whole dynamic from year to year where, teams are able to reload a lot quicker than they traditionally have been. And it works both ways. You look at Central Arkansas, was planning on having the best pitcher in the league returning, and she goes in the portal and is now the number one at Alabama. So it definitely impacts both ways. But yeah, the portal's been great for us. We've been able to plug holes and kind of, we're trying to get to the point where the word is we're reloading every year, and maintaining that success. But it's been great to us. But yeah, as coaches, I mean, you got to recruit these kids every year. You recruit them to get them here, then you got to recruit them to stay, because it's just the day and age we're in college athletics.
Yeah, how much does factor into even in your lineup card or in your lineup of the whole? It's a long season, so you can play a lot of different people. But are you cognizant of that? Like that, hey, we got to try to get some people playing time at the very least to be able to see what we have, because you want to do that anyway. But also, have to keep some people happy.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, it's definitely in the back of your mind. Got to try and get this kid some at bats. To see what we have, see what we need to fill, for the following year. But also, you see a future for that kid here in the program, and you want to obviously make sure that she sees that and understands that and maintains that level of happiness. So yeah, I mean, it's really kind of changed the whole dynamic of college sports in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's still changing. I don't know if that's going to stop anytime soon. But you hit the portal with that Allison Benning, and she's been dynamic. You talk about it as somebody that can really help and lift the program. She's been great on the mound. Yeah. Two-way player in college softball. I mean, I don't think we see that a lot, and she's leading your team in hitting too.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, I was here for a while as the assistant before I took over the program, and this will be my 9th year here, and we have yet to have a pitcher who hits in that time frame. So she's kind of been really unique in that sense. But for us to be able to get a 2-for-1, a kid that can help us on both sides, obviously really helps from a scholarship standpoint. But to get a player of her caliber, I just. We're talking about 2 years ago when she was coming out. I mean, it's a top 10 to 15 recruit in the country.
Yeah.
So we knew she had the ability to have that type of impact. Really been consistent for us on the mound and just an absolute force in the middle of our lineup. We refer to her as Benny Otani, because she has that kind of impact. I mean, she's a unique talent. You'll see some pitchers that hit from time to time, but I mean, to have the power that she generates it's a very unique skill set.
29-15, 13-5 in conference play. What do you think the strength of your team is? I know you're a hitting guy.
Yeah. I mean, offensively, we have the ability to drive the ball, score runs. I think we're leading the ASUN still in home runs, which was really a unique challenge because we play in probably the biggest park in the ASUN.
Yeah.
We're 213, 215 down the lines, where most parks are 200. I think we've got some depth on the mound. I think we've got, the girl who we've been throwing, Hallie Aarons, is our number 2, is as good as anybody else's number 1. So that depth really helps. But we have a senior laden group. This is a team that's been through it. So they kind of understand what to expect. But yeah, it's a good group. It's a deep team. We've got to find ways to have all 3 facets going at the same time. And there's been times where the offense has carried us and we've slumped in other areas. But if we can get all 3 facets going at the same time, I think we'll be a really tough out, not only in the conference tournament, but probably be a team that, teams aren't going to want to see us showing up across from them, hopefully in a regional.
Yeah, Jeff Conrad with us, head coach, University of North Florida softball. You can check out their schedule results, statistics on UNFOspreys.com. You've got a big matchup with Eastern Kentucky coming in this weekend, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday. I think it's supposed to be beautiful weather, so a great day to go catch some ball out at the University of North Florida. Then on the road at Stetson to finish up ASUN play. And how's the conference tournament work? I know the baseball conference tournament's kind of odd, and not necessarily wrong, but odd. How's yours work?
So it's 8 teams get in. I think there's been 3. We're one of the 3 that have clinched a spot already.
Yeah.
The 1 and 2 seed get a double bye. If you finish 3 or 4, you get a single bye. So, obviously you're hoping to try and finish in the 1 or 2 spot to try and not only win a regular season title, but also have a chance to get that double bye and just kind of shorten the road to hopefully what ends up in a conference championship.
So yeah, you got that double bye would be huge, obviously. So really, it does reward the regular season, which you guys are having a really good one. You said senior laden team. I mean, do you like that this time of year especially? I mean, when you've been through it, or does that bring in other emotions like, hey, it's almost over?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, honestly. I, from a coaching standpoint, I love having that experience, knowing that we've got kids that have been through the grind and have a little bit of understanding of what to expect. We had our senior weekend, the weekend against Florida Gulf Coast, which ended up being a really big weekend, from a standing standpoint. And we went back and looked at it. I think our seniors went 1 for 40 on that weekend from an offensive standpoint. Wow. And that's a big part of our group offensively. So, and it's there was a lot of distractions. I think there was a lot of those emotions of, hey, the end is coming, and things like that. So I think it does go a little bit both ways. It's definitely hard when you have to replace that big of a class, 9 seniors graduating. Leads a lot of holes, but, having that portal accessible where we can kind of plug in, hopefully enable us to keep the success that we're having.
Jeff Conrad with us, University of North Florida softball head coach, and just shaved, got the playoff beard ready to go because, well, in part, you're a big hockey guy, huh?
Yeah, 100%. I grew up, my mom actually played field hockey in college, and my dad was a big hockey guy, so at the age of 3 or 4, my dad put me on skates at a very young age. So I grew up playing hockey and baseball, obviously, and just love this time of year. Really love this Stanley Cup playoffs. I think there's nothing like it. But just, I love every minute of it. I'm home all night. Just when I'm not studying and watching film, I'm trying to watch games and keep up with what's going on. I just really enjoy this time of year.
You're a Rangers guy.
Rangers, yeah, big Rangers fan.
That's not always a good thing.
No,
but
it's
heck of a time to be a Rangers fan right now.
Yeah. I'm hoping to avoid the curse of the President's Trophy and bowing out in the first round. But so far, it looks good. Up 2-0 on the Caps, and I think they got a really good squad and a chance to make it really good.
There was some unbelievable hockey last night.
Yep.
Like we were roped into it. We were just talking about it in the break. I mean, that second period and the Panthers Lightning game was about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah. Well, how great is it when you have the two Florida teams meeting in the first round of the playoffs, and great goaltending, great teams. Obviously no love lost between those two squads and stuff, but it's just excitement. It has you on the edge of your seat, and it's just it's a beautiful time of year for hockey fans.
Let's wrap up with this. You just said you were watching film and doing stuff like that. How much? I think we think about that in football and basketball and games like that. How much goes into it on the diamond? The scouting, obviously there's a ton of video accessibility now. I'm sure you guys got charts and analytics all over the place. Yep. But how much do you rely on that, use that, study that to build a game plan each and every weekend?
A lot, yeah. A lot goes into it. I think that's probably the one thing that a lot of people would be surprised, with our sport, the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes with that. We have a program called Synergy where our kids, we upload every Sunday night, upload video that'll be all the opposing pitchers that they'll see for that week. We're also able to use that same video to look at all their hitters so we can start game planning, putting together strategies. Not only how we want to pitch and who we want to pitch that week, but how we want to attack each hitter. So it's really something that's really evolved, in our game where a lot of data analytics, all that stuff is really driving the sport.
Well, if you think about that, and I liken it to baseball, like you're going to have your top flight pitchers, right? It doesn't matter what kind of analytics you have. It doesn't matter what kind of bats you have. It doesn't matter how good you are hitting. They're probably going to get you out, right? Yep. And baseball, same way. But then you're going to go and see the rest, and you're going to score 10 runs against them in baseball because the ball's flying out of the yard at a crazy rate in college baseball right now. Yep. And I got to believe that I feel like, and I haven't no deep dive, but watching more college softball than ever before in my life, I feel like there's more hitting, more runs, and it's got to be a little bit because of that, right? I mean, more analytics, more data, better players. I mean, it's tough to be a pitcher, I got to believe, in college softball.
Yeah, 100%. And even the other side of that, too, is the technology, the bat technology that exists today is like it's never been before. It's really become a very offensive game. I think a lot to, obviously, the sport has never been more popular. A lot of games on ESPN on the weekend and different things like that. And I think, the offense is what drives the viewership, right? People tune in, they want to see runs scored, things like that. But yeah, there's the technology stuff like you mentioned, but also the bat technology has really evolved to where it's really become a very offensive game. So I actually texted, we were over at JU last weekend, and they have a very small field compared to ours. We hit 5 home runs, I think it was, on Saturday in the game against JU. And I texted Nick afterwards and asked if we could bring our fences in about 10 to 13 feet because it makes the game a little more exciting.
Does it? You like it?
Yeah, I like, obviously being an offensive guy.
Yeah, pitcher's dad doesn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Our park is the definition of a pitcher's park. It's one of the bigger parks in Division I softball, and like I mentioned. But yeah, it's we love going on the road to some of these parks. So we get to play in a little bit of a smaller confines and drive the ball over the fence a little bit. So, but yeah, he wasn't offering to get out there that weekend with a shovel and move those fences. But
not yet. Maybe coming down the road as well. Hey, all right, I'm gonna keep you one more. We get to I think Austen and Vegas. Caitlin Clark effect on women's basketball, but it's not just that. Like women's sports has really boomed anyway.
Yep.
In a lot of different areas. And your sport is one of the big. But girls flag football right now, huge. Like, do you feel that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a former baseball guy that's morphed into the softball world. I mean, how big does it feel when you're inside that world of the growth of women's sports in collegiate sports, but I guess all across the globe, really?
Yeah, it's awesome to see. The opportunities that exist for female athletes in today's day and age, the growth of the game, and it's not just, basketball, softball. I know there was one point, obviously we talk about me being a hockey guy, and there was at one point where ESPN opted for women's softball over NHL hockey. You know what I'm saying? Right. So just to talk about the the growth of women's sports in general. But even the opportunities, like my assistant coach Amber Pfizer, just signed professionally to play with the Oklahoma City club, and those opportunities that exist for female athletes in our sport continue to grow. You mentioned Caitlin Clark. We have a girl on our team whose sister is actually committed to Iowa to play softball, and after we played Iowa during the season, I had asked her about that, and she says the only reason she's going to Iowa is because of Caitlin Clark. And she's obviously not going to be there, not even playing the same sport, but just talk about the impact that she's had in athletics in general. So, really, really cool story. And it's great to see the growth of women's sports across the board.
We know Arlette a little bit, and she's a good player, by the way, going out there at Iowa. She can really swing it, too. Jeff Conrad, University of North Florida women's softball coach, and good luck this weekend, a big one. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll keep following the Ospreys, and you can, too, at UNFOspreys.com. Thanks for stopping in.
Sounds good.
Good luck with that playoff beard, by the way.
Appreciate it. Got to get to work on that.
He actually went to a Stanley Cup final game in Las Vegas a few years ago, and I think we're going to Vegas now, and we will do that with Austen Lane as we check in if he's still there and hasn't run away to go get a workout in or get weighed in. There he is. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
well, you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. That's the more important part.
Right
I'm
on.
a good lip reader, man, but not that good, so that was going to be tough.
I'm sure the beard doesn't help either to try to
That's true. Thanks for hanging on with us there a little bit.
Good.
And how about those hockey playoffs? Did you catch any of that last night?
Yeah, obviously I watched a little bit of it, saw some highlights. It is disappointing because the Wings aren't in it, so it's almost like your kid, playing in a tournament, and then they get they get beat, and they're out of the tournament, but you're still watching the tournament, and it's like I'm not really cheering for anybody, but it is still some pretty good hockey going on.
All right, you're out there for your UFC fight on Saturday. Fill us in. What do you mean? You got there yesterday? Wait, today's Wednesday. You got there Monday.
Yeah.
What have you had to do?
So basically, Monday, I got in a little later, so nothing there. Just kind of hung out, got situated, got the hotel and everything. Yesterday was all about checking in, so getting all my equipment, trying out the gloves, making sure those work, trying out the shorts, make sure the shorts are good and everything. And spoiler alert, they're all good. I'll be wearing black shorts in case you're wondering, Brent. If you want to drop some breaking news,
Friday fits.
I'll be wearing some black snakeskin shorts, it appears. So those are pretty cool. And then yesterday, just kind of some meetings and everything, going over the protocols. Today's the media day, so I meet with the UFC, answer the questions, all that stuff later today.
Yeah, so just go back to some of the gloves. We talked about the gloves, they give them to you. The shorts, do you know? Do you get to pick? Are there 4 different things to pick from? How does that work?
Yeah, so usually I want to say there's 4 or 5 different colors, and they ask you for your top 3 choices. You know, so I think mine was black, blue, and then red. So thankfully they had my first choice. So black it is.
All right. So now what? You get some workout. You're in tapering mode, so you're not going crazy on the workout end. But what do you do to stay fresh, get a sweat going? And I would assume there's some still tape watching to put together your strategy for Saturday.
Yeah, without a doubt. We have a good idea of what we want to do for our strategy, but now it's just kind of fine tuning, kind of the final dress rehearsals and everything. So last night we were at the UFC PI, the Performance Institute, got a good workout in there, broke a sweat because it's important to try to acclimate a little bit to the weather here in Vegas. It's super dry as opposed to Jacksonville where you step outside and you're already sweating. So it's definitely a different air here. So it felt good last night to try to, pump the lungs a little bit. And then also we sat in the cold plunge, sat in the hot tub a little bit too, just to kind of relax our body. And then obviously put our body through shock because the cold tubs here are 40 degrees. So not fun, especially I had to call my son at that time too. So I'm trying to keep it together and not shiver. And he's telling me about his day, which is a 20-minute process. So I think I did a good job of keeping it together. That'll probably be the most mentally taxing thing that I have to go through this entire week was trying to keep a straight face and answer questions and ask questions while I'm trying to chill in a cold tub.
Yeah, Hamby, I think tomorrow if we check in with Austen from the cold tub's a good spot. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll try to take your mind off the cold tub part of it. You were talking about where you went, the Performance Center. That's the same place where you had gone and done some testing, I think, right? A year ago, whenever this was. And I don't think everybody knows this, but Austen set some records out there just to show you the athleticism that our guy Austen Lane has. But, I mean, it's almost like a combine. And I think cycling and like power punch and you did really well in.
Yeah, so it was 3 records that I set. One of them was like the vertical jump mixed with power. So basically what that means is you hold a certain percentage of the weight like in your hand. So you hold dumbbells. I forgot like what percent. It might be like 30% of my body weight. And then you jump up obviously and they can measure your vertical. So I set that record. I set the record in terms of output of the 6-second sprint on the assault bike. I'm sure everyone who's been to a gym knows what a assault bike is. You use your arms and use your legs as well. So I set the output record there, and then also set the record for it's basically like your right hand power. So you're in like a lunge position, if you can imagine that, and then they give you a bar and basically you just extend it out as fast and as hard as you can. And I set the record in that in terms of explosiveness.
You are technically an underdog in this fight, at least from the betting odds standpoint. I got to believe you like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're going off his credentials in terms of being undefeated, having a pretty great kickboxing record. And obviously you've seen what I've done in the past in terms of, my striking and everything. But what I think people are sleeping on a little bit is I'm definitely the more well-rounded fighter. And I can take the fight wherever it needs to go. So I embrace being the underdog. I'm not even sure like what it's to now. Like some of my friends are reaching out saying, dude, what's up with this? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't make the odds, I mean, I just prove people wrong. So if you want to call me an underdog, call me an underdog.
Yeah, I like that position that you're in. Speaking of odds, switch over to football for a moment or two. We won't keep you too much longer, just a couple more minutes, because I know you get it on your way. And we also have Austen Reed coming up here in a few minutes, too. Just the Austen and Austen show, really, today on a Wednesday. But we started the show today. I saw this on ESPN. You might not even heard about it, but like Justin Herbert apparently has gone from, or the Chargers have gone from 101 odds to pick a quarterback in this draft to like 6-1 odds.
Yeah.
Nuts. Like, is there any way in hell that happens?
So, I'm not sure like who's leaking stuff or who's saying stuff. Obviously, I know Jim Harbaugh loves Justin Herbert a lot, and I understand that, and you're sticking up for your guy and everything. What I can't comprehend, and maybe like there's some reports out there that I haven't really seen a lot of reports in general about Justin Herbert going, but wouldn't the Chargers have to eat all that cap space then, like the dead money from Justin Herbert?
Ton of dead money.
And I don't know how you can justify doing that, especially like, I mean, say what you want about him. Yeah, he has he had a great teammates around him in terms of, the weapons and everything, but I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and to try to trade him and eat all that money, it makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either, but I just think those odds, we've talked about it before, they start shaping up. It's like there might be some smoke here. You've been out of this week. Any more thoughts on what the Jags could do? Ayuk in the conversation is diminished because of John Lynch's thoughts, but now it's almost come back to the forefront a little bit because there are some reports like, hey, don't give up on that yet. I think we here in Jacksonville, there's a lot of wishful thinking on that, along with those top receivers. Listen, we've talked about this thing up, down, sideways, every way. As we approach this almost 24 hours now, has anything changed in the way you think how this is going to shake out? Are the Jags staying at 17? Is receiver the first priority still?
Yeah, I mean, I still think receiver is the top priority, and I think that leads to the fact of they want to bring Calvin Ridley back. Now whether Calvin Ridley wanted a new change of scenery, did the Jaguars offer him the same amount the Titans did? We may not know that, but what we do know for sure, and this is a fact, that the Jaguars wanted Calvin Ridley back, and that you heard that in press conferences. You heard, I think, Trent Baalke say that. I'm not sure if Doug Peterson ever said that, but you got the sense that they really valued him and wanted to bring him back for Trevor. That doesn't work out. I think they've done a great job in terms of, like we talked about before, filling some of those holes, filling some of those needs, the center position, the defensive tackle position. They've addressed the secondary a little bit. So with some of those holes being filled, I think wide receiver is still that one that needs to be filled a little bit. And I think to get your guaranteed guy, you have two options. You can either maybe sell the farm and trade up to, the top 9 or whatever the case may be to get one of those top 3 guys. You can try to take your chances and get a Brian Thomas Jr. and hope that he falls to you and move up a couple spots. Or you can go the T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk route. So to me, I'm still expecting a wide receiver in the first round, despite what the odds maybe say. But it matters now of, do you want to go with the sure thing of, trading to get a T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk? Do you want to trade up, or do you want to hopefully that somebody falls to you?
Hey, Hamby, you got anything before we let Austen go?
Yeah. Austin, is your son making the trip? Is he going to watch?
No. Son's not going to make the trip. It's going to be a little too hard with school and everything. And plus, he is in the flag football playoffs this Saturday. So his team actually. Whoop, my bad, just lost you guys. So my son's team won with 3 seconds left on the game-winning touchdown
awesome.
to advance in the playoffs. So now he has practice on Thursday, and they're playing again on Saturday. So I'll be getting all the updates from that. Then hopefully he wins on Saturday. I'll be back. I get to watch the semifinals, and I think it'll be so.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Can we get a sneak preview of what your walkout song is going to be this Saturday night?
Oh man, a sneak preview. If you go back to. So I've had this song my first 3 amateur fights, and then I went to a different song. I'm going back to the retro, man. So if you can come across one of my any of my first fight videos, you'll see the song that I come out to. It's definitely more of the rock, hard rock, classic hard, whatever you want to call it, but it's hard rock.
Okay, and then how much money would Brent have to pay you to come out to the Pop Shock Your Mock?
the what?
AI. Why didn't you do an AI song? That would have been great.
Yeah. Man, probably the same amount of money that Trent Baalke's paying him right now in the Venmo. Because I heard you guys talking a little bit today where he's been praising all the moves that Trent Baalke's been making, and I agree. It's hard to hate on Trent Baalke right now because, and once again, you still have to finish the race, right? You still have to complete this draft and everything, but. I think if you get a wide receiver in the first round, or if you get one of your guys, you trade for that guy. I think there's a lot that has to be like for this Jaguars offseason.
All right, man. Go do what you're supposed to do and get ready for the fight on Saturday, and we'll visit with you again tomorrow. We'll be live at the stadium for that one, and Austen Lane out in Vegas. Have a good day.
Sounds good, man. And I'll try to talk to some bookies around here, too, if I can get any inside information about Trevor Lawrence or anything, in terms of that contract and in terms of who they're going to be drafting. So
please bring all us the latest information. Action Sports Jack's 24/7 Network Vegas edition with Austen Lane, and as he gets set for his fight on Saturday. We'll have more on the fight. Don't want to get to every little bit of it here on Wednesday, but we plan to visit with Austen Thursday and Friday as well from Vegas when we're live at the stadium. Everbank tomorrow for the draft day, and then Friday we'll be at String Sports Brewery, and then Saturday obviously concludes the draft, but also big fight night for Austen Lane in the UFC, his 3rd career UFC fight. Actually, I think that would make his 4th career UFC fight, but 3rd on this current contract. All right, let's do this. What do you want to do, Hamby? You want to take a break? Is that probably best?
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's take a break, and then we can get Austin Reed in and get him all settled. And from Austen to Austen when we come back, as we talk more about the NFL draft, including a local guy who hopes to hear his name called, at least latch on with a team. We'll talk about Austen Reed and the process of getting ready for the NFL draft. That's coming up next here on the Brent and Austen Show. In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Navigating to that perfect car can be a daunting task. Trust me, I understand, but if you want to find the perfect blend of sales and service for your automotive needs, look no further than the Tom Bush family of dealerships.
Here at Tom Bush, they do things right. Dating back to 1970, they've been a staple in the community, giving back and keeping everything local. With 4 different brands to choose from, BMW, Mazda, Volkswagen, and many, there's a car for every member of the family, and the customer service is second to none. Looking to add an electric vehicle to your fleet? Tom Bush remains at the forefront of new technology with plenty of staff on hand to walk you through the future of driving and help eligible customers file for that EV tax credit.
Whether you're looking for your future driver's first car or you want to step up to luxury and arrive in style, the Tom Bush family of dealership is the only stop that you need to make.
Stop by the showroom or check out the inventory at tombush.com.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
The UNF men's tennis team swoops to an A-Sun championship led by Coach of the Year Matt Lucas. The Ospreys battled over the weekend as the favorites and beat Stetson in the finals 4-0. The doubles was thrilling and eventually led to a critical point to begin the finals. UNF finished things off with a dominant singles performance. It's the third A-Sun championship for men's tennis and first since 2018. They will now advance to the NCAA tournament. For more Ospreys news and results in all sports, go to UNFOspreys.com.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part? They did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
That's Clay Flag football. They were victorious in the regionals over Stanton, I believe it was. 12-6 was the final. So they move on to the regional semifinals, that should be. A couple wins away from the final four. There it is, 12-6 at Cliff Averill scoreboard that he donated. And over there were the former NFL player played his high school ball. They've had some nice alums over there at Clay. Football, baseball, and a lot of other sports, but congrats to the flag football team for the win at Clay. Speaking of some good alums, how about St. Augustine High School? They've had many along the way, and we've been following this young man ever since he was playing quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, and we welcome him to the Brent and Austen show here on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network. Austen Reed, and he joins us. Are you in Jacksonville?
I am in Jacksonville specifically right now, Ponte Vedra, but yeah, I'm here in North Florida.
I was going to say, I'm trying to figure out where you're at. Like, are you at did you just get out of Torque or something?
Yeah, right now I'm about to go in, just do a little bit of arm care and do a little bit of therapy right there with Tom Gormley here in a minute. But yeah, just in the car right now.
Good deal. Remind him when you get in there, by the way, that we're trying to get him on. So tell him to make some time for us, all right?
I will. I'll let him know that for sure.
Well, I'm going to ask you about Tom in just a minute because he's been making some headlines too. ESPN just recently did a story on him. But first, I want to check in with you. How you feeling? Draft week is here. Put a lot of work in over these years. And what's the conversations like with your agent and where you could end up going, whether it's in the draft or as an undrafted free agent?
Yeah, I feel really good right now. Everything I've pretty much heard is day 3, so we feel very confident in the fact that I'll get selected day 3. The draft is a very unpredictable thing, as y'all know, and so there's a side of it where that could not end up happening, and I could end up being a priority free agent. But feel really good about a couple spots that I could land as a priority free agent, and several opportunities in that aspect also. But yeah, just preparing and waiting, and this has been 4 really long months of waiting around, and now it's to the point where we're really excited to have an answer. And now this week has been really long though as well.
What are those? What's that journey like? Like, what has happened in the last few months for you? Is it a lot of conversations with teams? Obviously, there's a lot of work that you're doing to get yourself prepared. But what sticks out to you about this journey between when you stopped playing at Western Kentucky to now, where hopefully you hear your name called?
Yeah, I mean, it just started out with coming back here to North Florida and training. And so I was training all through January. And at the end of January, I went to the East-West Shrine game and was blessed to play in that. And so then I went there, and that was meeting with pretty much all 32 teams, whether it was scouts, GMs, directors of scouting, that kind of stuff. So I did that, and then came back here for February, trained a little more. And at the end of February, went to the Combine. Really good experience, really enjoyed it, kind of like a childhood dream to be able to do that. And so met with teams there, met with position coaches, offensive coordinators, a couple head coaches. And then from there came back, trained here in March, and did my pro day at the end of March, which had scouts from pretty much all 32 teams. And I think there was 10 teams that sent position coaches there for Malachi and myself. So yeah, it's been a really busy process. Lots of things, I view those 3 different things as like the 3 big milestones of the draft prep process. And so now April's just been kind of training and waiting and relaxing until the draft.
Austen Reed with us here, a former St. Augustine quarterback, played at West Florida, played at Western Kentucky most recently. And I've got to believe, man, they love that part about your journey. You've played a lot of football. You played a lot of high school football, won national championship in the Division II level, moved up and had a heck of a career at Western Kentucky as well. Is that one of the positives that you hear?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with quarterback coaches in the league who just are they respect what I've gone through. The NFL is a hard league, as y'all know. It's a league that involves a lot of failure, and being able to overcome failure and just have that resiliency and be able to face adversity. And so I've had a lot of coaches who have respected that fact, beginning with not starting until my senior year of high school, and then having the year I had, and then having to go to Southern Illinois, and it didn't work out there, and then going to West Florida and making it up through D2 to transferring up to Division I, winning a starting job there, and then having the production I had there. So yeah, I definitely have earned a lot of respect in the league from my journey and what I've overcome. And so yeah, it's something I'm very proud of.
All right, let me give you the flip side of that. This league will humble you. The process will humble you. What are the negatives? What are you going to have to overcome as an NFL player, or at least the perception of some of those things that they're saying about you?
Sure. I mean, I think the first question mark that I get a lot is the offense that I played in and the level I played at. I didn't play Power 5, and I was in an air raid offense that is not at all what any offense in the NFL is going to do. And so there has to be that adaptability to change into being able to play in an NFL system and being able to play against that top talent in the league and against the best players in the NFL. And so, I feel like I proved it really well against Indiana, Auburn, and Ohio State, the 3 teams that I played that were, high-level Power 5 teams. And I think you look at the NFL and what it is today with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield, and all those guys came from essentially the exact same offense I ran. And so, yeah, I mean, those are definitely the question marks. But no, I've never really been I've had question marks in my entire football career, and I've always proved them wrong. So I'm ready to prove those wrong again.
What do you look at, like, with all these other quarterbacks? You work out with a lot of them. I mean, Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew sometimes down here. Caleb Williams has been here. Like, I'm interested in your view of a guy like Trevor, right, that you've seen around here in Jacksonville. Obviously, Jags fan, I'm assuming, growing up, but also a guy that you watch in college. Like, what do you see in a guy like Trevor? Like, how do you look at a quarterback that's gifted and was a number 1 overall pick? What makes him so good?
Yeah, I think obviously Trevor has that raw talent, and you see it. And I mean, I think God's blessed a couple men in this NFL that are just blessed beyond anyone else in terms of raw talent. I think Trevor's definitely one of those guys. I think the arm strength is there. Trevor's always been successful, whether it was high school, college, and now he took the Jags to the playoffs when, they hadn't been in the playoffs since like, I think 2017. So I think obviously what you see from Trevor is a high level of talent, and he's been able to prove it to success on the field. And so I'm a big fan of Trevor's game. As a homer for the Jags, I'd like to see them continue to be good. And when I'm on a team, I'll silently be rooting for them when I'm not rooting for the team I'm on. So I have a lot of appreciation for Trevor's game.
Have you had any conversations with the Jags?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I met with them at East West, met with the quarterback coach at the Combine, and then I did the local day here a week ago. I'll accept any opportunity to go throw in front of an NFL team. So yeah, I had several good conversations with them. I'm pretty sure my agents had conversations with Balky. So yeah, they're definitely a team that we've talked to. But at this point in the process, you talk to so many teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to go visit with Tom Gormley and Will Hewlett's another guy. Denny at 6 points. I mean, there's this quarterback thing going on in Jacksonville, man. But I saw you tweet about it, and I asked you about it when I saw you a couple weeks ago. I think we saw you at the Players' Championship actually last month. And I was asking you about Tom. I mean, you guys look at him as like a genius, huh? The analytics of what he's doing, the body composition stuff, like biometrics. These are big words for a sports guy, man, that I'm using right here. So, like, what is it about him? Like, why are all these top-flight quarterbacks gravitating toward Tom? What's he doing different than everybody else?
Yeah, I think the thing that Tom does so well is he just looks at it from a bigger scope than just football. I think a lot of people look at quarterbacks and put them in a box and say this is how quarterbacks do things and this is how football's always done things. And Tom looks at it from different angles. He looks at the way baseball players produce power. He looks at the way golfers produce power. He looks at the way just biometrically you're supposed to produce power and how rotationally you can produce power by doing certain things. And so I think the reason it's become such a big deal and you're starting to see so many big names come down here is the success they've had. And so obviously they had Brock 2 years ago and what he's done. And then with Anthony and the massive jump that he took from, what people's perception of him at Florida was to eventually the Combine and then the few games he played in Indianapolis. I think the proof is in the pudding in what Tom has done for players. And he obviously did the work with Matthew Stafford for the Rams in his arm care and pretty much rejuvenating his arm. And so I think just essentially when you look at the product that they've developed and, I just think he's ahead of the game. I think sometimes football can get stuck in its ways and thinking that it's done a certain way and this is how it's always been done. And Tom doesn't do that. He forces everybody to look at big picture and just say, like, how can we innovatively, like, move ahead in this game. So yeah, I think he's really special with that.
All right, last one, then I'll let you run. I appreciate taking some time with us here on the Brent and Austen Show on Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Austen Reed with us. Hopes to hear his name called this weekend out of Western Kentucky. Plays the quarterback position. When you play the quarterback position, especially at the NFL level, it comes with a lot of other stuff. And I'm sure you had to deal with that in college too. But how much do you get questions about, or how much are you ready to handle the CEO nature of that position in the NFL, where you're really forced to do things a little bit different than maybe everybody else? Did we just lose him? I think we lost him. Oh, it was fun while it lasted. That was weird, Hamby. How did we go to the live view? Did something else get routed wrong?
I'm looking.
All right. You kind of figure it out. Might have been my best question yet to Austen. We appreciate Austen Reed jumping on. We don't know what happened to you, buddy. It was probably on our end, though. I think somebody in the other part of the TV building might have routed something differently. It's all I we haven't had that happen yet, but we appreciate Austen Reed for jumping on. I don't think we're going to get him back. So if you can hear me, Austen, just go do your thing and get on with your day. But good luck and say hello to your family. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on the Brent and Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network and taking some time just a day before the NFL draft. And if you missed the early part of that, Austen thinks there's a really good chance he gets his name called on Saturday. I think it's fascinating with the draft when you get to that point, because you might not want to be called in the 7th round. It might be better to be called or on the phone as an undrafted free agent and be able to pick your spot. Like, these are the situations that present itself, and it feels like that's more and more a way in the last handful of years that you hear guys talking about. It's like, yeah, I almost don't want to get drafted. I think I'd rather have a choice to go here or there. We've seen a lot of bonus money being paid out in the undrafted free agent world, so it'll be interesting to see. Everybody wants to get drafted, though. I think that is part of it, but is it a best situation to get drafted? That late 7th round stuff is fascinating to watch based on free agency versus getting picked, how that whole scenario works out, where you end up. And I think now Brock Purdy actually adds to this intrigue because he was Mr. Irrelevant and the Niners got him, and look what they've turned him into. So is that something that will continue to happen for other folks, or is it better to go the free agent route? So something to keep an eye on as you get to the later rounds for all the teams, for all the players, for our local guys, any of that. And we'll see how it shakes out for the Jacksonville Jaguars and beyond. You know, I actually was, we won't share this tweet on air because Hamby's working on some things. But let me get something for you folks out there. I want to share this. A good time to do it. And
I can hear you.
Let's see. Basically, what they're saying, the most money made, I think Spotrac had this, the most money made in each round of the draft by position group. Well, every one of them's quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, $340 million. Drew Brees, $269 million. Russell Wilson, $266. Kirk Cousins, $230. Tom Brady out of the 6th round, right? $333. Ryan Fitzpatrick, $82 million out of the 7th round. And Tony Romo, undrafted free agent, $127 million. You know the only place a quarterback has not been found, at least that extended to a rich deal? The 5th round. Stephon Diggs has made the most money in NFL history coming out of the 5th round. Well, isn't that fascinating? Does that mean we don't find good quarterbacks in the 5th round? Or they haven't had a hit? I don't know. Are you telling me that Austen Reed hung on for that long? We're getting him back? Hey, man, I like this guy better than I thought.
He just disappeared again.
Oh, he just disappeared again. How about you just tell him, I don't have his I can't text him, but if you get him back in, tell him to go on with his day. We appreciate his time. He doesn't have to hang around for our shenanigans.
All right, I'll tell him.
He might just be in a tough spot right there that finally clicked in. It was a great connection for the most part, but now it might be going in and out wherever he is, or it's our fault. That might be the case too. How about this, Hamby? You want to just take a break? Do we have to collect ourselves? We're having some bad moments on the show today. Overall, it's been fun, but we are having some bad moments. You know how to run a commercial?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can you do that?
No problem.
We're getting close to the noon hour. We got Shock Your Mock Finals. There are a couple of other things I would like to share other than I did think that nugget about Stephon Diggs that Spotrac shared is pretty fascinating. Why hasn't a quarterback come out of the 5th round? That's odd. I'm sure there's some quarterbacks come out of the 5th round, just hasn't landed a big money deal. And I also thought somebody else would have come out of the 7th round other than Fitzpatrick for $82 million. He had to play on 440 teams to make his $82 million. That one surprised me a little bit too. All right, when we come back, an hour to go before the eve of the draft, let's hope the draft goes a little bit more smooth than this show has been for the first 2 hours. It's not a total train wreck. It's been a lot of fun. There's been some train wreck. Small wreck. Little bumper accident from time to time. We'll be back on the Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Thanks for hanging out with us. I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Kinetico Premier Softener with a Kinetico K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Kinetico water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
It's the fishing tournament everyone wants to get in, and it's time for you to register. More than 650 boats entered last summer in the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. Mark the calendar now, June 8th. This is fun for the entire family, and everyone has a chance to win big. Limited boundaries, no bait buying, no checkout. Cash prizes for the top 25 places, cash prizes for the top 10 lady anglers, and prizes for the top 15 junior anglers. The grand prize, this Yellowfin Bay boat with a 200 horsepower Yamaha and a Ameritrail trailer. The value, over $100,000. It's the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout. Early entry until the end of May is open and $250. If you don't catch the big one, don't worry. Just catch any size kingfish and have a chance to win $10,000 with the Nimnicht Lucky Ticket. OldSchoolKingfish.com. Register early until May 31st at OldSchoolKingfish.com.
New to town or always been in town? Everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then here's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're going to love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations, Donato's Pizza. Every piece is important.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I think we got to the bottom of it. See, we're living and learning on the show. I like this camera shot. We don't use this enough. It's the best side of me right here. This is kind of a cool shot. I think I like this one better.
You like the back of your head?
Well, I just like the overall look of the room better. By the way, see down that way right there, I'm pointing toward you. See, that's the French fry window, drive-through window. That's where Hamby is. That's where we order food. But he might be covered up soon because we're getting a new recliner.
Oh, my gosh.
Furniture Source delivering today, I heard. We'll see if it comes. I think that's what they told me. And we might be doing the show from the couch.
It'll be
sooner or later.
It'll be even harder to get a hold of you guys.
People do like our the digs over here.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Why wouldn't you, right? I think we can even make it bigger and better. There's another room like this side over there through this wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's another room. And it's a big room. Someday it's going to have ping pong tables in it and pool tables.
Uh-oh.
And we go like cornhole. Oh, this show will be a blast. Hamby, you're doing a great job today, even though I'm a little critical at times. It's that last one I don't think was your fault is what we've determined.
Correct.
And you're not like, you know what I like about you? Like, you're not a big, it's not my fault guy. Like, you're all right taking a little bit of the ownership of it.
I mean, if it's yours, it's yours.
That's right. But yeah, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people find a way to, yeah, but that was because of this or that. They don't like accountability. You're okay with it.
No, the open was definitely me.
Yeah, the open of the show today. I can't wait till you watch that back on replay on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Don't miss the first minute. It was intense.
Or just skip to about three minutes in, maybe. I don't know.
By the way, it does replay here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. You can find it on social too, but we'd like you to check it out on actionnewsjax.com and the Action News Jax app. But I think we could see Austen as he was probably getting calls and texts and saying, "Man, you're on with Brent. I'm watching." Yeah, that's what they were saying. Mm-hmm. And he would you could see him hit the phone to kind of get it off the phone so he could see us. And my guess is he might have hit "see you later."
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we got to the bottom of. Not to blame you, Austen. I'm just saying it was a common error. Or it just went out because we thought we had him back in and then it went out again. So not your fault that time, Hamby.
It's okay if it is.
But we need like a better Mayday signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when the crap hits the fan, it's like, all right, what are we doing? How do we know? Like, Hamby's trying to figure it out. I have no idea if we're going to get him back. So that's why I just start hammering you, Hamby. That's my go-to. That's my defense mechanism.
So you got to do something.
It's going to blame you. I have no idea what was just said in the chat, that last chat. And I don't even know if I want to know. But I couldn't even absorb it.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good thing? I don't think, are they being funny or is this not, they making fun of me?
It's one of those where if they're trying to make fun of you, do better, because I honestly can't tell if that's English, explicit,
we don't know
language.
If we need to remove it because you have the ability, right, to remove something.
Yeah.
Like, is that something you're supposed to remove from the chat? I don't even know.
I don't know.
But it's not a common chatter, right?
No.
The person?
No.
So it's probably not good.
Yeah, I think
probably someone invading.
I think I'm going to keep that one off.
Invading our game. So you got up on the screen, Amon-Ra St. Brown signs a healthy extension.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see this one coming, but I guess it makes some sense. 4 years, $120 million. So he's a $30 million guy. $30 million.
Yeah.
What does this do if you go get Ayuk?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean,
who's a better player?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 6 receiver in the National Football League.
Really?
Yeah. He's that good. He's that good. Which you never know really how, it's really hard to say how, to what extent a guy is worth the money because of just the overall market going up year after year after year.
Yeah.
It's hard to really compare because really, in order to say whether a guy's worth the money, you really have to compare him to previous contracts of other guys. It's really hard to do that when the market just keeps going up. But this guy, I mean, true number one, true go-to guy, clutch guy. Doesn't seem like he's going anywhere for a very long time. Wouldn't be surprised if he's the 4th best receiver in the National Football League for the next year or two, or for the large majority of this contract. So money aside, he deserved a big deal. I don't know about $30 million, but good deal for the Lions to block him up.
Yeah, so it's interesting you said, okay, I'm going to just do some numbers. I don't play fantasy football, so you guys know the numbers better than me.
No, he's a monster.
And I get, listen, this isn't me trying to say he's not, I know he's a good player. Like, I don't need to play fantasy football. I know he's a good player. Here's his career track, by the way, which is incredible. 90 receptions, 912, 106, 1161, 119, 15, 50. He just keeps going up, right? 5, 6, 10 touchdowns. I mean, they've really hit stride. He's been a big part of their success in Detroit, and why they've taken the step they've taken, why Jared Goff has taken a step, why their offense has taken the step that it's taken. So you're looking at yards per catch, 10, 11, 12. So it's not like all the deep stuff or anything like that, but it's a bunch of catches. It reminds me, from a catch production standpoint, let me know if the heyday Michael Thomas.
I feel like Michael Thomas was a little bit more deep threat, but it did seem like Keenan Allen's it seems like he on his days, which he there's not very many days where he disappears. He's always involved. And on his good day, he's going to catch 13, 14, 15 balls. And that was, so in that sense, Michael Thomas, you kind of get the Keenan Allen kind of stuff. I mean, just he's a PPR machine in fantasy language. Because he just catches so many passes, and again, not a lot of deep threat, but I think, you're right there with.
All right, so I'm going to go to again. I don't believe just looking at numbers is a worthy thing to do. What he's done, like what Amon-Ra St. Brown has done to elevate their offense in Detroit, to me, says almost more than the numbers. Like, I think all the things you just said about him, go-to guy, everything else. But I'm going to do Ayuk just for the hell of it, because he's a popular name that people are talking about. Mm-hmm. And there's, I think, two different things. First of all, you get an extra year in here for Ayuk, so he's a year older. But I also think they are so weapon heavy. You could look at it two different ways. Is Ayuk a product of them being weapon heavy?
Right.
Or are his stats a little diminished because they're so weapon heavy?
Yeah.
So it just depends which way you want to look at it. But here's the track, right, for Brandon Ayuk. 60 catches, 748, 56, 826. Remember, like, it was 90 right off the rip for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Crazy rookie year.
78 catches, 1,000, 75 catches, 1342. And that's where the difference is. It's less catches, 75, 119 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. The yardage is only off by like 150 yards. Mm-hmm. Because it's 17.9 yards a pop.
Yeah.
Both these guys getting between 5 and 10 touchdowns in their career. 10, the high water mark for Amon-Ra St. Brown. 8 last 2 years ago for Ayuk. And this is not like who's better. People will say Amon-Ra St. Brown's better. You just did. This is more for, okay, if you do make a move, or San Francisco, did the price just go up so much that now you're like, not doing it.
Right.
Is he going to be, is Brent Ayuk going to be a $30 million a year receiver if Amon-Ra St. Brown just signed this deal?
I don't think so. And I think, you talk about the weapons. I mean, because Amon-Ra St. Brown gets $30 million because he's the number one receiver. He is the the go-to guy at all times for the Lions offense. He is their primary target at all times. They do not have a number 2 receiver like anything close to the 49ers have. Obviously, Sam Laporta, a very good football player. Josh Reynolds has been made a good football player. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is getting double-teamed. I don't know percentage-wise. I wish I knew off the top of my head. I guarantee you this, Brandon Ayuk's not getting double-teamed for the 49ers. You want to know why he's open and he's going to catch his average catch is 18 yards? Because he's getting single coverage every time. Amon-Ra, he's getting shadowed by the safety every time. He is that guy, and he still puts up those numbers. And to be the primary and focal point of that offense, you're going to get paid.
Yeah, it's. I guess Delphonic said Pretty Ricky leaked this yesterday. We got our guys. It's either Pretty Ricky or Antonio Brown.
Yeah, and I don't think that means that. I don't think that necessarily means that Ayuk shouldn't ask for that. I think he's going to look at that and say, "Yeah, absolutely." You know, I need 28, 29, 30, just like Amon-Ra. I just don't know if his demand and his impact on a football game is as high as Amon-Ra St. Brown's.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. And here's the deal. We said this with Higgins. This was a conversation we had a little bit with him. Higgins hasn't had to be a number 1 guy. So do you know he can be a number 1 guy? Ayuk seems like he's turned into their number 1 threat in the way the passing game works, even more than Deebo Samuel. Deebo can do a bunch of different things, but I guess I don't watch enough San Francisco games maybe does that jump off at you? You got so many weapons. But I think it's fair to ask, can Ayuk be the number 1 guy? Like, can he be the standout number 1 guy? Now, he's coming here that he doesn't have to carry the load. I mean, this isn't like LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavs here. This is, you've got guys. I mean, you got weapons. We're not asking you to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like he can certainly fit into a place that's got a bunch of weapons. But I get what you're saying about Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's turned into that, like, hey, I can be the guy. I think you ask those questions about these 2 asset receivers that you thought you could go get from a trading standpoint in Higgins and Ayuk. I don't think you know that answer yet fully. It's trending that way. But that's part of the business. You've got to be able to track that. You've got to be able to see where that's going. What track is it going to be on? What's it going to land on? How does it fit with what you do? And like I continue to say, I don't think you have to be a number 1 wide receiver in the truest sense of the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I think you can be a number 1 wide receiver more in the Amon-Ra St. Brown build.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, you're not going to have all the traits those other guys have, but you can be our go-to guy in a pinch on 3rd down. We need to go somewhere. You're going to win the route. You're going to get the ball. Like those kind of things. I think Ayuk has been able to show that for San Francisco. So those kind of, it's just a different story. It's not all uniform. And I don't know if we like that all the time, but it's not a blanket statement about a receiver, especially when you're talking about number 1. But what is a little more blanket is how much money they make. And if $30 million is for Amon-Ra St. Brown, I just can't believe Ayuk for San Francisco or for another team is going to be too much lower than that. I think it might be 27.5 or something like that. Maybe it's 26. Are you willing to go there for Ayuk? I think it brings that question in. Is San Francisco now willing to go there? And they already looked a bit unwilling. So does that muddy it up? Does that make him more of a trade candidate? And one other note, every time we talk about wide receivers, my goodness, does that deal for Christian Kirk look better and better every year?
Yep. It's huge.
I mean, it's like the Kirk deal was a good deal. You got an ascending player, an important player to your locker room, franchise, quarterback, everybody else, and at $17 million a year, shoot, it's a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people say you're the one that inflated it. I don't think that's the case. Devontae Adams getting $27 million a year might have inflated it. The cap space in general might have inflated it. We're getting to a point where we now see guards and corners and everybody north of $20 million. We're going to get to a point sooner enough that everybody's getting north of $25 million.
Yeah.
That's a stud player in the National Football League. Just the way it is. We have to wrap our arms around that, our head around that, our minds around that. That's just real life. As much as it is real life that, hey, if you're a quarterback in the NFL, you're making over $40 million if you're Daniel Jones, right? If you're Kyler Murray. I mean, have they done enough to earn that? Probably not. But that's what you're making. Is Trevor Lawrence, has he done enough to earn $55 million a year? Yeah, maybe not. Probably not. He's going to get it.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to get. So anyway, I just think like I love watching these deals around the league because they become more comparable to what get ready to expect it in Jacksonville.
Right.
And I'll give you another one. If Gabe Davis delivers for the Jags, and I don't know what delivering for you looks like or for the Jags even looks like, but if he delivers the way Kirk has, in terms of it was a good get. Oh man, $13 million a year for Gabe Davis?
Yeah.
That's really going to look like a bargain.
Oh yeah. Half the price.
So fascinating what's going on in the NFL with these salaries and the boom of some of these positions.
Yeah. Here's the last thing on Amon-Ra I wanted to show. So Amon-Ra, 164 targets. If you discount Laporta because he's a tight end, Josh Reynolds, your second leading target getter, is 64 targets. 100 more targets for Amon-Ra St. Brown to show you just how much of a focal point of the offense he was.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the 49ers, Ayuk did lead the team in targets with 105, so 105 targets to 164, and Kittle was right behind him with 90, Debo 89, Christian McCaffrey 83. So you have four guys with 80-plus targets. On the Lions, you had one guy who was 44 targets less, and it was your tight end.
Yeah, and listen, I think this is a little bit of a product as you show that screen of Jameson Williams has not panned out the way they thought he would. He also missed some games. Last year was the year that he missed games, right? Yeah, he only played 12 because of suspension. Was he suspended for 6 last year? How could he have played 12 then?
I thought it was
the year prior.
I thought it was the year that I thought the first year was the suspension, and then last year was the ACL.
Okay, maybe that was it. Coming back from whatever it was. You can tell Jameson Williams has not done what they hoped he would do yet, for a variety of reasons, and so that's part of the reason Amon-Ra St. Brown has to carry more of the load, has to get those targets. That's where is very reminiscent to me of a guy like Michael Thomas, where he's getting all these targets,
right,
and so much volume. So it's hard to really put the numbers up against a guy like Ayuk because there are so many other ways to go in San Francisco. They're going to spread that ball around. And to the likes of McCaffrey getting 83 targets in the receiving game. They did not use their backs, it looks like, that way in Detroit, even with the talent that they have in the backfield. So I think that's why you got to go deeper than the numbers sometimes, but your eyes tell the story too. Amon-Ra St. Brown, very good. I just think Brandon Ayuk, whatever deal he gets, it's not going to be much cheaper. You're going to buy a guy that's 26 years old, you view him as ascending, which means you're going to pay for it. That's going to happen. Further proof that numbers don't necessarily tell the story really is Brian Burns. I mean, Burns coming off an 8-sack year, and he's making the same amount of money as Josh Allen, who has 17.5-sack year. Now, if you look at the compilation of their careers, they become more aligned. But numbers don't always tell the story, because Burns is going to be an interesting one. Coming off that 8-sack year, is that who he is? Is that just bad Carolina? Or are people right? I mean, he's the real deal, and this is what he deserved. Just had a not as good a statistical year, even though he's been able to show it in the past. Hey, there's I think a tweet that you shared with us. I don't know if you can get it ready. It's okay if you don't, but I think you did, or maybe I found this one. Jaden Daniels like 23 years old.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if you'd let me show that one.
Why's that?
Shows video of him.
Oh, we don't need it. I think it's a cool conversation in this draft.
Yeah, I got to put him. I can read the comment though.
But it's 23 years old for Jaden Daniels. I think Bo Nix is like 24, right? And somebody else is whatever age. Go ahead, read what you got.
So it says it's a highlight from Jaden Daniels back at Arizona State. And it says, reminder that Jaden Daniels has been in college so long that he threw a touchdown pass to Brandon Ayuk over DeMondre Lenoir to beat Justin Herbert's Oregon Ducks pre-COVID.
It's wild. That's wild. Did not know that, by the way, that he'd been there that long.
Yep.
So overall, the players are older in this draft. Trent Baalke talked about that a week ago.
Played a lot more football.
That's the upside. We just had Austen Reed on. That's the upside. Played a lot of football. in the scouting world or in the investment world, let's just say, of sports, we see this in Major League Baseball, right? A lot of guys stay back now in high school. But if you're a really high draft pick, that's not a valuable thing that an organization is looking for coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to be as young as possible.
Jackson Holliday is in the major leagues at 19 years old.
They like that because they control that more early on, but they also can develop you and get more out of you in that investment. Does it matter as much in football is what I'm getting at? Trevor Lawrence was 21. Anthony Richardson, I think when he got drafted, wasn't even 21 yet. He hadn't had his 21st birthday. We're seeing younger guys, and then all of a sudden, COVID is now a product of older guys this draft. In the quarterback world, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and probably other players too. Good or bad?
I think it definitely just depends on the position. Because you think about a quarterback, I want them to have as many snaps and see as many offenses and schemes and be under as many coaches as possible before they get to me. Think about running back. Shoot, play 1 year and come to me. I don't need you playing more than 1 season, 2 seasons at the college level. And wide receiver, I don't need you taking a bunch of hits before you get to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, offensive line. I don't think you mind at all whether those guys have played 3-4 years in college. You want those guys to be fully kind of developed into their bodies and all that kind of stuff. And I think quarterback's probably, obviously, because quarterback always seems to be this situation where that's the one where you can really go back and forth the most, where there's pros and cons the most, where, you kind of know what you're going to get at an early age, so it doesn't really matter. But some guys just take a little bit more, and, those extra couple years in college really do them a whole lot of good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good sign in football. I think it's a grown man league. I talk about this a bunch, and it's a hard thing to say, but I say about Luke Fortner or even a Trayvon Walker. I mean, what you have as a body at 21, 22 years old is not necessarily the body that you have at 26, 27 years old. Like, I don't know where grown man strength comes in. I don't know what age group it is. I don't know if I ever experienced it or not, but the bottom line is, I always say this. I take a guy like Anton Harrison, right tackle, and he's a baby. He's a pup. He's 21 years old, 22 years old now. And you take Lane Johnson at 30 years old, and there is a difference, right? I mean, there is a difference. So you can't ignore that. So it's a grown man league, and I think that does make a difference when you're, especially in the trenches, and it probably at the quarterback position, when you have to process stuff. And the thing I just asked Austen Reed, you got to be a CEO. Like, you have so much responsibility. Anthony Richardson looks like he's in a great place to handle that responsibility. But how do we know 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds are in that kind of position to handle responsibility? Was Baker Mayfield? Was Zach Wilson? Was Jameis Winston? Like, I think those are real questions, even if the talent is there. Is Caleb Williams going to be? Like, we'll see. Trevor Lawrence, 21 years old, didn't matter. Like, it almost didn't matter if he came to the NFL at 18. He seemed like he's ready to handle it.
Yeah.
Right? That's cool. But not everybody's built like that. So I think this is I think it's an advantage for the NFL folks having the more seasoned player coming into the league. I don't know they view it that way. I think it is that way. Because what they would also say, Hamby, is that was longer time for them to develop bad habits.
I wouldn't buy that.
Well, not just habits, but habitual things that now you have to break them from.
Yeah,
if they're doing it wrong. Because a lot of these guys don't do everything right, technique-wise and everything else, because they're so good physically against the competition that they're playing, right? They're so good athletically. And, I mean, that's natural for a lot of sports and positions, and I got to believe that's the case in football, too.
I mean, do I disagree with you, but that at some level they are going to be, depending on their athleticism and size, a lot more at the college level and not focusing as much on technique, sure. But by and large, you've got to believe that the more snaps they play, the longer they're in college, they're getting better. If the NFL thought that college just taught them bad habits, the draft would look completely different.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I wonder. I just don't know how they look at it. It sounded like Bulky didn't say it as a negative thing, that this was going to be an older draft. He didn't also say like, "Yeah, we love it," But I think the maturity of that is going to be appreciated across the league. There's got to be a sense of that, and you probably have a little less rope for a guy that is immature and older. Like, hey, this is who you are then, right? When you're red flagging these guys, character traits. If they've been around it a bit and they're older, well, you can't just go to the young card then. Got to grow up sometime. We stopped this conversation to recognize in the chat, one, Duval TV is not getting anything done if he works or she works. And two, are you trying to set a record? We love the chat, but are you trying to set a new record in the Brent and Austen show chat with the amount of messages sent?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize. Hold on, let me count how many in a row.
Right now, I feel like this is Ty texting me. 2 words at a time. Where I encourage you, Ty, just to put it all in one fine text.
21 consecutive messages from Duval TV.
You're on a streak. It's such a good topic, he says. Yes, it is. We got you fully involved in the conversation. I'm not criticizing. I'm just having a little fun with you. 21 in a row. Make it 22.
There's
Delphonic. There we go. Breaks the streak.
Attaboy.
That's worth the Dream 18 white hat.
There's Ripley. I haven't seen Ripley in the chat today.
I know. Where's Coach Ripley been, man? Romo asks on Twitter, I don't know if this was in the chat, any surprises coming from Jags today or tomorrow? Well, what would you characterize as a surprise?
Who asked that?
On Twitter, Ramo, sorry. And any surprise coming from Jags? We did do this a little bit earlier in the show. I think the surprise would be if they were to move a guy like Cam Robinson, then open up potentially the left tackle position, and offensive line would then get in play. I don't know if surprise I would characterize if they moved up to the top 10. I guess I would be surprised they were able to do it, but I'm not surprised they would want to do it. I feel like the biggest surprise is them to move here's your surprise of the draft for the Jags. They move outside the first round.
Oh.
Oh, you're asking for surprises.
Oh, dear.
I'm not surprised they move back a few spots.
No.
And then go get receiver corner. I feel like that actually might be a good business move by the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised if they pick pass rush. I'm not surprised if they pick defensive tackle and Murphy's there. I'll give you 2 surprises. My biggest surprise is sitting here right now. If the Jags move out of the first round, or if they pick like Nate Wiggins. It's Nate, right?
The toothpick.
Yes. Those are my 2 surprises. Those are my biggest surprises. All right, let's take a break. Delphonic broke the streak. How can he keep his streak going and shock your mock? We'll have our finals coming up here on Shock Your Mock 2024 presented by Everbank. And you get one more chance to vote. And speaking of, presented by Everbank Advantage U, draft night in Duval tomorrow night, 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock, live on Fox 30 from the stadium. Brent and Austen show from the stadium tomorrow as well, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. And you can see it all on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. You can find us on actionnewsjacks.com and the Action News Jacks app. It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. And they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown, in your hometown. Bode City Heating and Air.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part? They did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access.
Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence.
You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back. We go here on a Wednesday, the eve of 2024 NFL Draft. I am a big proponent of moving up the draft like 2 or 3 weeks. This process takes way too long. I'm done with it. I mean, I'm excited about it that it's finally here. But, like, I've talked around this draft like so much, but it is fun that the Jags have the 17th overall pick because I think it gave us a lot of storylines. And I still have there's a big mystery tomorrow. There's a mystery in Jacksonville, what's going to happen, which I love. Like, that's awesome. So that part of it, I think you should be pretty locked in. I think you are locked in. I think you're going to continue to lock in. And I'm locked in. Brent Martineau, Jason Hamby. We call it the Brent and Austen show, but Austen isn't here this week. We've had Kasey Kuhrts, we've had Jason Hamby, and Stuart Weber likes to jump in and make an appearance once in a while too, which he will probably in a little bit. Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. A couple of programming notes. We will be at the stadium tomorrow. Friday, we'll be at String Sports Brewery, and that's 10 a.m. until 1 p.m., so have some drafts while we talk about the draft. We'll see you at String Sports Brewery in Springfield. Then, next Friday, from Best Bet St. Augustine, live audience during that show. We want you to come out, be a part of it. Brunch with Brent and Austen. Free brunch with us. Limited spots available. But it is kind of first come, first serve. Plus, you'll get some free giveaways and things like that. We will have some prizes. We'll have a lot of fun. So put it on the calendar. Get out of work early. 10 a.m., even if you show up at 11 a.m., although you might run out of spots if you show up at 11 a.m. 10 a.m. until 1 p.m., Best Bet St. Augustine, exit 311 off 95. We'll see you next week, part of our Best Bet St. Augustine partnership, but also part of Derby Weekend, which will be a big one coming up there. And as I mentioned, it's my best way to say also a party for Steph. It's her birthday. She won't be there, but I'm throwing her a party anyway, and you guys are all invited. Free stuff for you, probably nothing for her except to mention. That's how this works. Hey, Hamby. Donato's draft day pizza party.
Uh-huh.
All right? Should we give the draft party to the winner of Shock Your Mock? Or should we give it to someone who corrects the pick tomorrow?
Predicts the pick?
Correctly predicts the pick.
Okay, what if we have multiple people who pick the correct?
Well, then we kind of pick out of a hat. I'm not going crazy tiebreakers here. But I mean, what's the chance? Like, we might have 10 people and then we're just picking. Then it's a random drawing. But at least you got kind of down to the, you gave yourself a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So,
whichever one is easiest to pay off.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. Like, I think Delphonic, who has made his way to the Shock Your Mock presented by Everbank Finals, I don't think he's like a Jacksonville guy. I thought he was up in Georgia or something. Where do you live, Delphonic? Is he in here still? I don't know.
He'll pop in a second, I'm sure.
So, yeah, I don't know if we can do that.
Yes, I moved to Georgia in 2019.
Yeah, well, I'm not sending the pizza to Georgia. That's the problem. So that eliminates it because Delphonic has made the finals. He won the vote to the finals.
Unbelievable.
I don't know if you can get Weber in here, but when you get a chance to get Weber in here, I did this yesterday with Kasey. He wasn't highly entertained by it, but I am. Like, every winner so far from the quarterfinals and the semifinals have come from the left side of the screen.
Oh, is it just a convenience factor, maybe?
Yeah, like, I'm just wondering if there's something in our subconscious that says I'm voting on the left rather than the right. Because I see it first. We read left to right.
Yeah.
Right? So you see it first, so boom. That's your first impression. I like it. I'm voting for it.
I didn't expect when I sat down for this to be a show where we talked about voting left or right. I figured that was a different show on a different channel.
Well, I mean, we could probably get more clicks if we continue to talk about left or right voting.
No, thank you. But yeah, maybe it's a little subconscious deal where people are going with the first option to your eye, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know if that's... I mean, there's something there.
Yeah.
I just don't know exactly what's there. So
it's a good question.
Anyway, Delphonic is in, and I'm really trying to figure out who the other one that was.
Is anybody delivering the pizzas?
Well, it just
remember
depends.
we did that years ago. I think Austen delivered.
Well, Austin's in Vegas.
He is, yeah.
We're usually busy on draft weekend. I could go to a wedding on Saturday.
Yep. Wow. Those are few and far between for you, right?
Like, I'm not sure. Yes, they are. Not sure if I'm going to deliver. Like, I could potentially deliver on Friday. So we do the draft party for the winner on Friday, but we really don't reveal it until Friday.
Yeah.
So that might be a little too difficult. So maybe thinking Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure. But I'd like to be able to deliver it or have one of us deliver it. But it's got to be in the Jacksonville area. I mean, Donato's has 2 locations, Jax Beach, Mandarin. We'll go pick it up for you. and then drop it off.
I think most folks
party for like a dozen people, by the way. This isn't like this block party.
Most people aren't upset about a little Friday night pizza.
Well, I know. Well, Saturday pizza,
and you
isn't
got the
bad.
second and third rounds in the draft, so it still is technically a draft party.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it.
Well,
I like it a
Saturday is, for the draftniks, Saturday is a big day.
Yeah.
Like they like that. I like it less. They like it a lot, right? Because you got a bunch of activity going on, and that's where you can be like the smartest guy in the room. Like, I love this guy that was picked in the 5th round.
I just see it as a lot of graphics I have to make that day.
Yeah, it's a busier day.
You know, cutting out the players and the images.
It's a little less exciting on the TV side of things. Brent Martineau, Jason Hamby, Stuart Weber has stopped by. And before we get to the Shock Your Mock stuff, which we will in a moment, you got Cup Date coming up here at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, coming up right after this show. So hopefully everybody sticks around on the stream, on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 stream. This week on the Cup Date, we're obviously talking about Talladega, the race we just had this past weekend. A lot of Michael Jordan talk in there.
A lot of Michael Jordan talk.
Just how big it is for the sport that people who don't normally talk about NASCAR are talking about NASCAR right now.
So he finally got a win.
So they had won 6 races while he was co-owner. This was the first time he was in attendance and able to enjoy it. You know, enjoy the spoils, go to victory lane, get to do the hat dance, as they say. And have a good time with. I don't know if he did the hat dance, but everybody else was doing the hat dance, where they swap out all the sponsor hats and throw the fingers in the air and go woo. That's it's a fun thing if you've never witnessed it before. But yeah, so that was his first chance to witness it in person, and he was jazzed up. He said it was like an NBA playoff game. You know, playoffs are going on right now, and this is his way to get a little excitement and a little bit of that competitive juice. Although he did recognize the fact that he has absolutely no control over it.
Yeah, you can't really do anything about it, can you?
I guess it was the same when he owned Charlotte, honestly. But he couldn't go out there and, well, he probably would have tried to go out there and play. But, yeah, he just has to kind of let the chips fall where they may, especially in a place like Talladega.
What else you got on Cup Day?
Yeah, so we break down that, and then we look ahead. We got Dover coming up this weekend. We had a chance to catch up with Josh Berry, driver of the number 4 Stuart Haas Racing, as he has done very well at Dover in his limited time in NASCAR with an Xfinity win and 2 runner-up finishes in Xfinity, a top 10 while filling in for Alex Bowman a year ago in the Hendrick car. So a good track for him to maybe get right. He's been on that rookie roller coaster, and it was good to chat with him a little bit about that. So we'll hear from him. And, yeah, it's a good jam-packed show full of NASCAR Cup Series talk.
All right, let's get to our winners here on Shock Your Mock, presented by Everbank. And Hamby, you got that we can throw up there? And I think, let's make sure I think our winners. Here's the thing: I know Delphonic is our finalist because of the watermark, but we got that.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the right this time, so he's an underdog. He's now an underdog.
But the problem is there's no anonymity with it for his.
Well, that's true.
There's not a whole lot of anonymity with anything that Delphonic does.
I mean, that's a good thing. You put your mark on it, quite literally in this case.
He definitely did that. I am going to our other final we had was Robert Atzert and Jay Collier. And I think Robert Atzert was our winner. I think he had multiple ones that on his feed, so that's what always confuses me. But anyway, we'll get the winner part up. But there it is. Brian, which one do you like better, guys? Or should we not influence the vote?
I don't know if our opinions would influence the vote. But go ahead, Hamby.
I actually do like both these. You know what I like about the one on the left there is Braswell's a different name that we've seen in the second round, and we're getting a lot of the same names by this point.
The problem is it's not a different name. Did we have a Christian Braswell?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
This is Chris Braswell?
Yeah.
That's not confusing at all.
Yeah. But again, that's we haven't seen that look. And the Renardo Green one is something that a lot of more conversation about Renardo Green on the national level that could end up with Jacksonville, Florida State guy. And I don't mind Brian Thomas. Like, I like the Brian Thomas move. I just don't think it's a move it's being discussed a lot because everybody's talking about all these other receivers. Now, Quinion Mitchell, I'm a big fan of, too, if we're going to go that way. And actually, Leggett, I like, too, a lot. So even though it went in reverse order of the way I want to see it go, getting Leggett in the second round, I think, could be a major steal if you're able to get him. In fact, I don't think at this point you're even going to get him at 48. I think you'd probably have to move up to get him. But I like these two drafts. Now, I have no idea. Well, I guess it's not that hard to slip. Dwayne Carter, 96 versus Dwayne Carter, 116. That's only 20 picks apart, though.
If you're a Dwayne Carter fan, you have a hard time picking between these two. He's coming here no matter what.
He is.
By the way, Austen,
is that the only a like pick? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense Austen would probably lean Delphonic simply because of Zach Zinter in the future Disney movie, right?
Yes, we would have Zach Zinter with the big splinter,
the mystical
and
splinter,
the also big squinter.
Yes, when it got bright outside.
Yes.
So there's a couple of options. But anyway, Shock Your Mock. I'll put this up in a couple minutes on Twitter. If you want to just vote left or right today on the messages on YouTube, if you're not on Twitter, you can certainly do that as well.
Did the left one just decide not to make the final pick?
Who's that?
So the left one's missing that pick 236, and I don't see any trade ups in the other spots. Were they just like, you know what, we're done here? We're trading away that last pick.
There's a small chance. There's a small chance there's operation error here that
might have been cut off.
Operator error. I mean, that could have been cut off on my part, or maybe there's a second screen that just didn't get carried over. And quite frankly, if we're picking kicker at 236, who cares about 236 anyway?
It's like
actually, Stuart, he traded 236 for Brandon Ayuk.
I mean,
is that what this guy had done?
wait a minute. I don't think that passes the
throw-in.
The what do you call it? The trade calculator. I don't think that computes
the points.
No.
All right, so we won't be giving away the pizza party for the winner of Shock Your Mock because if Delphonic wins, he can't get it.
Yes.
So we got to go the different route. Tomorrow it'll be Donato's draft day party, pizza party that we give away, and really what you're going to have to send in tomorrow before 1 o'clock, before the end of the show. You got to do it tomorrow. Don't do it today because I'm not going to count them from today. It's going to be between that 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock window. And you tell us who they're going to pick. And if you're right, I feel like we'll have 10 people that are right or something like that. We'll throw them in, and then we'll throw a dart against the board and figure out who wins. That's how we're doing it. That's for the Donato's Draft Day Pizza Party. We'll find a good prize, including a Dream 18 hat, no matter what, for Delphonic, even if you lose. Fair enough? We're going to pay these sons of guns off.
And it starts with this.
Oh, we're paying this off right now.
We have to.
You want to do that before we even go to a break? So this is this is how long it takes us to pay things off. This is the March Madness bracket.
Oh, wow. We're really bringing it back around.
And
I was out a little bit, Stuart.
So what happened here is we nominated, we found Z Fortner.
Mm-hmm.
He was the People's
bracket
representative, right? We picked one, and we said, hey, if you beat one of us, you get a prize. If you beat two of us, you get higher level prize. Three of us, upper level prize. This was from Best Bet St. Augustine, so we really were like kind of best bet bucks, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So basically, it was just simple. We can give them $100, $200, or $300. We'd like you to use it at Best Bet. Why don't you come down Friday next week?
Easiest way to deliver it.
It is the easiest way to get it.
I see my boy Irf on there.
And more.
That boy Irf.
But
gotcha.
Z4, I was the only one that lost. And I was actually started this thing good.
You did. You started out hot.
I was doing pretty well. I was surprised to see that I finished fourth amongst all of us.
Obviously, Austen isn't pictured because he was towards the top. He didn't win, but he had UConn.
He had UConn,
yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, way up there.
So I was a little disappointed you beat me, Hamby, because even I had beaten Alabama made it. That was the big thing between us. Alabama and I forget who I had.
Clemson.
Oh, I had Clemson. Yeah. That was a pretty good game, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, Z Fortner, we can get him $100. Use it Best Bet St. Augustine. Go play War down there. And we should mention that who was it that won the bracket? B. Kramer, is that what you said?
Yes, B. Kramer had a really good bracket. Obviously, he had UConn because you have to pick the winner to win. But he won pretty handily.
Really?
By 90 points. Yeah, had a.
Do we know who that is? Did they listen to the show, or did they just find our bracket somehow?
I can't say one way or another. I feel like I might have seen his name in here, but I haven't seen it in the last couple of times. But I don't want to say that he's not if he is.
Well, we didn't say this as part of the deal there, but we'll send him something. as the overall winner of the bracket if he gets in touch with us.
Yeah, so
you got to reach out to
listening, throw something in the chat or tweet at Brent.
Yeah, and you got to be able to prove this, by the way. Not just anybody in the chat just say, hey, all of a sudden my name's Kramer. We did this very...
Don't give them ideas. What do you...
Not very scientific how we do this, but...
All right, hold on. Let's lock in on this, our latest chat. Z. Fortner says, all right, I could try to come to buy best bet at some point. I'll put all of it on one hand of war.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. That's awesome. Now you can keep it if you want to. Whatever suits you. It's your money. But I do like the idea. Put it all on one hand of war. Not bad. Got off to a hot start last week when I played after the show.
Yeah?
Yeah, fizzled out after that.
Oh, that's okay.
But I like the all-in nature of it. Very good, Z. Fortner. Congratulations.
Stuart, how would your betting pattern pan out? What would be your units? You got $100 to play with.
Okay.
We're going to do $5 minimum.
Okay.
You have 3 options. You can do Z Fortner, $100 on one. You can play the safe. You're just there to have a good time, which is the more safe play, $5 a hand, and just do it. Or we can find a middle, and we can go like $15, $20 a pop.
Are we talking war? Is that the game?
Yeah, we'll go war for this situation.
War, by the way, is just you got to beat the other one player,
one
like
card.
the dealer.
Yeah. Now, does that have any sort of like doubling down or any of that sort?
You can do one side bet on war or on one card poker where it's a tie. So
Yeah.
if it's like if you get the war, you win like I want to say 5 times whatever you put on the tie bet.
That's always the thing with some of these table games. It's like I like to play the game, but then like if you end up in like a blackjack game and you're like, okay, I'm going to do $10 hands, and then you get one of those hands where you have to double down or do these things multiple times, and suddenly you're in for $40 in a hand when you're like, I just wanted to do $10 a hand. It could get a little dicey. So I'd probably lean more towards like the $10 a hand. I'll just say somewhere between the super conservative low number and that higher one, just because I do like to play for quite a while.
Yeah,
I like
that's the fun part of one card poker. You can play for
like
a
to
long
enjoy
time.
the game, especially if it's a game like that where it's completely on chance.
Yeah.
I prefer the games where a little more thought process goes into it.
Yeah, so you feel like you could at least outsmart them.
Yes, and
yeah.
I like that aspect of
the
it.
bonus, you play a lot of bonus stuff on the table games over in Pai Gow Poker and other ones too. So it's fun. We'll see you at Best Bet next Friday. Z Fortner, come on down. If you really can't get there, let us know. We'll connect with you some way and get you your prize for beating me. Remember with Z Fortner, we were making fun of his bracket. His bracket got off to such a bad start, and he still ended up beating me. I was very disappointed in that. That was a little bit of a little hit to the pride there.
It would have been a bad look, though, if we all beat them.
Well, it's not our fault.
Well,
we're in it to win it.
I know, but they all would have
been a bad look for my pocketbook.
They all would have accused us of looking at his bracket ahead of time before choosing him. And
yeah, good call.
Good call. Saying, oh, his bracket.
We didn't do that.
Good.
Well, we couldn't have. Well, I guess we could have done that. Could we have done that?
No, because we could only see who they picked as the winner.
That's
because you couldn't see the whole results until the first game tipped.
It was such a weird March Madness for me, missing the entire first 2 weekends of it.
Yeah, you missed March Madness.
I was on the honeymoon, and like I threw together a bracket like literally
in the Final Four.
The day, the day. No, I'm saying like the day before we left, because we left on the Monday, so the bracket came out on Sunday. So I just kind of threw one together. I had Purdue winning it all, so like I at least got one of the finalists in there.
Yeah.
But, it was weird not getting to watch. I'm going to make sure I don't schedule vacations for March Madness.
I think it's impossible for you to do it, Weber, with your vacations.
Yeah.
That's a good time to go.
It is.
It's
maybe somewhere that has access to watching more sports.
You can't get it around the globe the air as you're flying around the world.
No.
Hey, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll put a bow on the show. We've got like a few minutes to go. After that, get you set for Cup Date. That's at 1 o'clock. A week with Action Sports Shacks 1:30. No gate fees at 2 o'clock. So we've got more coverage here on a Wednesday. And then we'll replay, of course, the show on the Action Sports Shacks network on the Action News Jacks app and the actionnewsjacks.com. An eve before the draft. It is draft day eve. That's what I was trying to say. And it's coming up, and we're going to find all the answers out soon enough about the Jacksonville Jaguars and the rest of the NFL. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town, and I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part? They did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website and Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. And they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, back at it. Put a bow on the show here on this Wednesday. It's been a roller coaster ride today. I like this. It's fun. I love the folks in the chat, by the way. Thanks for hanging on. We love it. It doesn't always have to be clean. You guys have been like that for years and years. Even when we're up on ESPN 690, it was anything but clean up there in the early going. Overall here, it's been pretty good. But we had some hurdles today to get by. And it was a lot of fun. All right, we're almost done talking about the draft, but not completely done. In fact, Hamby just said prop bets coming tomorrow, right? I told you he's like, how many quarterbacks are going to be taken? Those are good ones. They're going to be fun stuff. But then I also saw some odds like who will smile first in the coverage, Nick Saban or Bill Belichick? So we'll have some fun with it tomorrow. We'll make our picks. How's the draft going to play out for the Jaguars in day one? It really starts to get exciting now. Next couple of days, Jags, are they going to be movers? Or are there going to be more rumors around the league? And we started the show today with that Justin Herbert odds thing, which is wild. Are we going to see more stuff like that over the next 24 to 36 hours as we head into and ramp up for the NFL Draft 2024? It will be something to watch and a lot of fun to keep an eye on. We'll be at the stadium all day tomorrow, so make sure you check us out right here on the Brent and Austen Show. We'll visit with Austen from Las Vegas as he gets closer to the fight. And don't forget, coming up today at 1 o'clock, Cup Date 1:30, a week with Action Sports Jax. 2 o'clock, no gate fees. We'll be back here with a live show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, actionnewsjax.com, and the Action News Jax app. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us.